the album that they just put on everybody's phone without asking them?
It might have been.
I don't know. I don't remember. I remember that. That was heated. That was heated. No, it's a.
It still plays, by the way, when my car thing doesn't sync up exactly right.
It just defaults to you too.
It just defaults to that.
I'd sell my car.
It's not my car. It's my phone.
I'd sell that too.
It's hard to resell a smart car.
We've got a lot we got to get to today on the radio program. I'm really challenged right now, Alonzo. Nope, don't want the jokes. I'm really challenged right now because I'm right. But I promised you 3 weeks before I pushed the button.
Oh, okay. All right. It's that thing.
I promised you 3 weeks. Yesterday, I walked it back to Thursday. And No, that's not the right one.
I know I'm doing it for you. So I'm panicking for you.
Alarm. I got a text yesterday, buddy Andrew, who runs a phenomenal, if you're a baseball guy, runs a phenomenal podcast, the Coach's Son pod. Very good pod. He's a Braves guy. He's a buddy of mine. And he texted me yesterday afternoon. Can you hear just the sadness in my voice right now?
Yeah, I just thought it was Tuesday, though.
It's a little bit of that. I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit of that. It is a little bit of the revelation.
Well, because Tuesday is the hardest day. It's weird to explain as far as sleep goes because, I mean, you're tired from Monday where you just adjusted your sleep back from the weekend. So I think Tuesday is a little bit, it's not a bad day. It's a little more subdued, and you add your sadness on top of it, and you might as well play the dirge, I guess.
There's a few things that are going on right now. There's a few things that are going on. There's obviously the fact that Lonzo is correct. It is Tuesday, and Tuesday is the worst day. Monday, not the worst day, because you pretty much have most of Sunday to prepare for Monday. So mentally, when Monday starts, you're prepared for it. Wednesday, you're kind of like you attack the day, and you're like, all right, once I get through this day, we're pretty much done with the week, right? I only got Thursday. Friday's not real. Pretty much done. Tuesday, there's no positives to a Tuesday. There's none. There's no positives to a Tuesday. It's like when you get done, you still have the majority of the week ahead of you. You're still, especially those of us that have weird schedules. We're still trying to get ourselves right from the weekend. Yada yada yada. All that true. For me, there's a secondary element of this. This is an interesting time of the year for me because I, as a dude, I'm very much enjoying the sports world right now. We had Texas TCU last night in the Women's Championship Tournament Elite Eight. The Longhorns knocked off Haley Van Lith and her TCU Horned Frogs. So Texas will be joining the South Carolina Gamecocks in the Women's Final Four. Paige Beckers went off for 30 last night. UConn, a team that drummed the Gamecocks on their own court, will be joining them in the Final Four. It was a good night of women's hoops last night. Baseball. I love baseball. Even when my team stinks, and my team does stinks, even when my team stinks, I still love baseball. I'm still romantic about baseball. Listen, I love it.
They're going to win eventually. You can't, it's just a slow start.
We're going to be 7-0. I'm coming to that.
Is this why you're wearing this? Is this a Subdued Tuesday shirt?
No, I don't think this is
subdued. It's not loud. What color is that?
Carolina blue. Baby blue.
It is
North
not.
Carolina blue.
No, it's not.
What the hell do you mean?
It is not. That looks closer to a light purple.
It is. Do we need to get your glasses out of the car?
No. It could be lighting. They're actually in my bag. What are you doing?
I'm showing you that it's baby blue.
Yeah. You don't need to do that. It looks like you're scanning yourself for a disease or something. Don't do that.
I love baseball. It is baseball season. I watched a handful of games yesterday throughout the course of the day. It is NASCAR season. We ran at Martinsville last weekend, one of my favorite racetracks of the year that never gets enough credit for what it is. Phenomenal race. As a sports dude, this is one of my favorite times of the year because it kind of opens you up to having a lot more on the calendar to watch, to listen to pay attention to. But I also understand that while this is not true of all of you, it is true for a lot of you, if not most of you. This is the part of the season where Rob Brown annually gets in trouble because you guys want to talk about football. We are 8 months from football, and you guys want to talk about football. And I'm going to come in here and go, we're
Draft.
talking. We're going to come in here. We're going to talk NBA and NHL. We're going to get into draft talk, obviously. And here's the fun part. I promise you, I'm going to go deeper into the draft than like the majority of people that you're going to listen to. But there is.
I was just trying to say there is some football coming.
I'm not saying
relevant football.
I'm
coming
not
up.
saying that there is not. What I'm saying is I have a hard time sacrificing all of the other sports going on to force football talk down the pipe. Like right now, we can talk about draft. But here's the thing. There's 900 podcasts. There's 900 radio shows going on around the Carolinas. And right now, the conversation is effectively which one of the 5 guys that the Panthers could draft do you most want them to draft? And the reality is, I got my take. Zoe's going to have his take. Rashad's going to have his take. Dave's going to have his take. Lonzo's going to have his, or Cole's going to have his take. Diesel's going to have his take. They're all going to have their takes. And those takes are going to be what those takes are going to be up until the draft. And I'm sitting here going, we got baseball that matters. We got women's and men's national championship basketball that matters. We got NBA and NHL playoff races that matter. We got a lot to get to. But at the same time, I know that I'm about to butt heads with about 62% of my listenership who just want football. And that's a tough spot for me. And then, as I sat on the couch last night, at about 9, no, I guess it started earlier in the day. Earlier in the day, I was sitting on the couch. I was doing a little work. The wife is out of town, so Rob Brown's running the ship solo this week. I going home, came back up here, recorded an interview alongside Lonzo, got a chance to sit down and talk to one half of Team Extreme, the Hardy Boys, Matt Hardy. We'll play that interview for you later today.
Yeah, and by the way, those of you who were expecting Sting, he had to reschedule.
He did have to reschedule. We will be interviewing him Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday or Thursday, yes.
And we'll let you know when we get that booked. So I came back up here, got that done, went back to the house, sitting on the couch last night, and got a text from my buddy Andrew, who runs the Coach's Sons pod. It's a phenomenal podcast. And he said to me, I will quote him directly, "What the Profar?" And I went, What are we talking about here? Like, I know he's had a bad start to the season. He's like 0 for 17 during the first 4 games of the season. And, oh, by the way, those first 4 games against the San Diego Padres, the team he played for last year, the team that he had an all-star season for last year, the team that you would think if he was going to show up and show out against, it would be against the team that paid him $1 million in total for a full all-star season, and then said, yeah, best season of your career, we're not signing you back, and they let him walk. You'd think he was going to show up, and he'd go, maybe 9 of 17, 10 of 17, hell, maybe 5 or 6 of 17 with a handful of RBIs, just anything. Nope. It was like 2 for 17 through that series. Just looked like bad. And then just a handful of hours before the Braves took on the LA Dodgers in the first of a 3-game set against Major League Baseball's best team, I get a text from brother Andrew that says, yo, what the Profar? And I went, oh, that doesn't seem good. And so what do I go look up? The one off-season acquisition for the Atlanta Braves of Jurickson Profar. Remember, going back the last couple of weeks, I have told you that the Braves are a team, to me, best represented by a poor man with a Powerball ticket, right? If all the numbers hit, the Braves are going to be rich. If the majority of the numbers hit, the Braves are going to be in pretty good shape. If not majority of the numbers hit, they're going to be poor. They're going to be poverty franchise. And one of the ifs that I over and over said has to hit was Jurickson Profar, their only major offseason acquisition, $3-year, $42 million deal. He made it 4 games into the season and has been suspended 80 games for performance-enhancing drugs. 80-game suspension. Oh, and if that is not enough.
Was it his lotion? Maybe it had something in the lotion.
Don't know. Don't give a damn.
Okay. All right.
Don't know. Don't care. I cannot excuse it. The list of banned substances is very well known. You should not eat, drink, sniff, snort, rub upon your body anything that you have not gotten 100% cleared with your team and with MLB. You should not go to the store and pick up a new bottle of Jergens and not run it by the squad first. Okay? Like this isn't a surprise thing anymore. This isn't something that you go, oh yeah, nobody knows that. No. You send it, you take a picture of the label and you send it to the boss and you go, yo, am I good? And that way, if they say, yeah, you're good, you put it on the team. I'm tired of this. I wouldn't knowingly consume it. Dude, it's a chemical with 97 different letters in the name.
We should start doing that. If we get a new lotion, just send it to the boss.
Well, I'll tell you what. The day that
I'm trying to make light of the situation because you're so distraught, and I'll sit back and let you wallow in your misery.
I am not. I have told Lonzo before. Oddly enough, there's really only one of those like borderline curse words, you know? Like they're curse words, but at the same time, like we're allowed to say them on the air, right? Like don't go bananas, but like you're allowed to say them. There's only one that, for whatever reason, I can't explain it. There's only one that like I don't say on the air. I'm not comfortable. Peed off. That one, for whatever reason, I don't know why. That one just like it doesn't roll off the tongue for me. And I almost said it right there. I just about dropped that. I just about dropped that bar.
At me or at the Braves?
At the Braves.
Okay.
At Jurickson Profar and the Braves. I got, and I guess this is on me. No, I don't guess this is on me. This is 100% on me. Because I said for weeks and weeks and weeks during the offseason, I am not going to allow myself to be excited about this Braves season. I'm not going to allow myself to be excited. I'm going to go into this year understanding we're going to stink. We're going to stink. It's going to be another year of wasted potential. I'm not going to allow myself to get excited. And then as we got closer and closer to opening day, I had Bob Nightingale on my show. And I said, hey, Bobby, what team could take down the Dodgers? And Bob Nightingale said, I got to tell you, Rob and Cody, I think the Braves could do it. I think they got the talent. I think they got the guys. If they can just hang in there for a couple of weeks while they get everybody back and healthy, I think the Braves could be that team. And then I had other guys on, guys that cover MLB. We had oh God, what was his name? We had another big-time baseball writer on like 3 weeks ago, and we had the same conversation. Hey, man, the Dodgers are a bleeping wagon right now. Who can take them down? And I had other guys, pros, longtime media vets going, I got to tell you, Rob and Cody, if the Braves are healthy, if the Braves get it right, the Braves can get it done. I'm telling you, Jurickson Profar, all-star last year. He can be that guy. Ronnie Acuna Jr. coming back. He could be that guy. Spencer Strider coming back. He can be that guy. You got a bunch of guys. They could do it. And here we are. The team is now 0-5 to start the season. They've got 2 more against the Dodgers tonight and tomorrow. They're not winning either one of those games either because they went through last night, Tyler Glasnow. They're going to get Dustin May today. They're going to have Blake Snell in game 3. They're not beating either. Oh, and by the way, the Dodgers didn't have Freddie Freeman last night. Like that wasn't even the best version of the Dodgers, and they smoked Atlanta 6-1. It is a spot here that not only do I have to deal with the fact that the team is going to be bad like I knew they would be, but I allowed a bunch of other people to convince me, maybe just maybe, Rob Brown, maybe just maybe you're a naysayer. You're a doom bringer. You're a harbinger of badness. And maybe just maybe they're going to be pretty good. And I allowed myself to buy into that. And no, they were all wrong. I was right. Bob Nightingale was wrong. I was right. It's just all downhill. And then one of the big ifs that needed to go right for Atlanta, 80-game suspension for Dre. You just spent $42 million to bring this cat over from San Diego. You gave him a flyer. You said you're 31 years old. You've been in the league for a long time. You've had one good year. And we're going to give you a 3-year, $42 million deal. He made it 4 games into the season before he gets suspended for 80 games. And oh, by the way, let's say the Braves don't stink. Let's say they sneak into the playoffs. They backdoor their way into a wild card spot. Guess what? Jurickson Profar is now ineligible for the MLB postseason as well. So even if he came back after 80 games, we're just at the halfway point. He comes back after the All-Star break, and he's just a machine after that, right? He's just a monster. Gets the PEDs out, just becomes a machine after that. Wouldn't matter. Braves can't have him in the postseason. I don't know why I allowed myself to get suckered into the belief that this team wasn't going to stink this year. I don't even want to push the panic button. I don't even want to push the panic button because in one day, 5 games into the season, 1 week into the season, not even a week into the season, 5 games into the season, I've given up. I've given up. I'm just going to enjoy baseball this year. There is no reason to get excited about the Braves. There is no reason for optimism. There's no reason for hope. There's no reason. There's still all this talent on the team. 0-4 against San Diego. They're about to go 0-3 against the LA Dodgers. If you can't take 1 out of 7 against 2 teams, 1 out of 7, and they're not going to. My prediction yesterday was the Atlanta Braves are going to be the last team in Major League Baseball to record a win. Last team in baseball to record a win. And if I'm right about that, then what's the point? Oh, maybe they'll get hot in the second half, Rob. Maybe they'll be around in the second half. Maybe it'll matter. Braves 0-5. The Brewers are 0-4. Everybody in the West has a win. Everybody but the Braves in the East have a win. Over in the American League, the Twins are 0-4. Just to let you know where we're at, the Mariners, the Athletics, the Astros have all won 2 games. The Tigers have won a game. Last team in Major League Baseball to win a game. I'm not going to push the panic button because I'm not panicking because there's no reason. There's no reason to be excited. There's none. A guy that was expected to be a healthy part of your outfield this year just took an 80-game ban for a PED. And, by the way, took an 80-game ban for a PED coming off his only career season where he was worth a damn. And I'm supposed to be excited? Nah. I'll cover the Braves because I know there's a lot of Braves fan out there. I'll cover the Braves because I know a lot of y'all love this team. I love this team too. I've been in more Braves games than Panthers games over the past 5 years. I've been in more Braves games than Falcons games. I've been in more Braves games than Gamecocks games, than Tigers games. The only team I've been to more games than the Braves is probably the Swamp Rabbits and the Triumph. Everybody else, I've been to more Braves games than everybody else. I love this team, but I'm giving up, man. We're 5 days in. I'm giving up. I don't know what you want. 80-game suspension. What a jackass. Back after this, the Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's the Fan Upstate.
Friends.
All right, guys. Good morning. Appreciate you being here. Y'all stay right there. We'll be right back. I'll be in a better mood, I promise. people, forget the panic button. I'm going to have a funeral for the Braves. I'm over it. Yep. You need to play the Undertaker music. See, the thing about the Undertaker was he came back from the dead. The Braves aren't going to.
Why don't you just do what a lot of people do when they're trying to get rid of an addiction and go cold turkey? Just don't watch baseball or talk baseball the entire season.
Because this is a sports show.
Right. And you can, when there were no sports, we existed.
Right.
And
There are
so
sports.
you can get rid of baseball and talk about other sports like football, like the entire summer. Football. Then your heartache.
Booking.
Then your heartache. Isn't he though? My dude
was
was
booking.
cruising.
This is a spot where a lot of people would come back and they'd make a segment out of, am I overreacting? Is it too early to push the panic button? Am I am I a bad fan? I'm not doing that because the answer is no.
Okay.
No, I'm not, and no, I'm not.
Following the progression here, that means next year, before you're just going to panic before baseball season because you're steadily moving back each year to when you panic.
I guess this is like I said, this is kind of the spot that I'm in now, where I'm going to say, I'm not panicking because I don't care. It sucks. I want to. The reason that sports are great, the reason that we love them, the reason that so many of us invest in it is because it is something to care about. It is something to invest in. It is something that matters that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, your team, you might go your entire life and never see your favorite blank team win anything. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not going to have, unless you let it, a detrimental impact on your life. My New Orleans Saints won a Super Bowl in 2009. I said that night, I can now die happy. All I wanted was to see one. Now I want to see 2. And then I'd like to see 5 and then 10. But the reality is, my team's probably never winning another one. And if they win one at the rate that they won their first one, if they do win another one, I'll be dead and buried. Is that going to take away from my life? Am I going to be on my deathbed hopefully a very long time from now and be talking to my friends and family and go, "Oh, my life was a waste cuz I only got to see one Super Bowl." No. No, it doesn't matter. But it does matter. It does matter. It is something we all invest in. It's something we all love. There is nothing more frustrating than when you get to a point that you make the realization that you genuinely don't care about a team, that you do care about. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. I think it makes sense. When you get to a point when you don't care about something that you care about. There was a very long time ago, like a very long time ago, I was dating a girl that I was head over heels with for a very long time. And we had some issues. I was in my probably mid to late 20s, right? And it was like, oh, this is the one. This is the girl I'm going to marry. This is the girl I'm going to be with forever. And we dated for a handful, a couple of years. And I love this girl. Everything was great. We lived together. Everything was going awesome. It was all chicken with the gravy at that point. And then there was a day where we had a couple of fights over some stuff that didn't matter. And she did something that just was a complete turnoff for me. And I woke up one day, and as I walked into the living room, she was sitting in there. And I don't know how many times I'd walked into the living room to this girl sitting on the couch watching TV. And it was like butterflies in the tummy when I did. You walk in and she's sitting there and she's eating her food or watching TV or doing whatever. And you walk in and you're like, golly, how lucky am I, right? Golly, how lucky am I? And she did something one day that was such a turnoff to me that I walked into the living room and I just didn't care. Everything I'd ever felt about that woman was gone. And she's like, oh, she's still here, right? And it was a hell of a revelation for me to be at that spot, to have that click that this person that I had spent a couple of years deeply caring about, deeply treasuring in my life, I didn't care about. And I didn't care about, which was somehow worse than if I had never met her in the first place. And I think the part that makes it sting, and this is why I genuinely couldn't imagine being like a Cleveland Browns fan. The part that made it sting wasn't that I didn't care, or wasn't that we had drifted apart, or whatever. The part that made it sting was that I recognized that I didn't care because of an unnecessary action that she took that she didn't have to. Everything could have been the same, and all she had to do was not that one thing, and we probably could have worked it out. Not that one thing, and I probably could have been like, you know what, we're in a bad spot, things aren't great, but hey, relationships are tricky. Everybody's going to be in a spot they don't want to be in. We can work this out. We'll do some couples therapy. We'll go, we'll have weekly date night, you know? We'll put romance night on the calendar once a week. We'll make ourselves do it. And one day, we'll get it all back. But instead, I walked in and it was just, you've lost that love and feeling. Whoa, that love and feeling. You did something that it just, and that's where I am with this Braves team right now. Because the offseason, it was kind of like that meme where the dude's poking the thing with a stick, and he's like, hey, do something. Do something. That's how I felt the whole offseason. I'm like, are we going to do anything? Like, you got the money. You've got the resources. You signed one guy, a 31-year outfielder who has had one good year, and a couple of years before that was cut by the Rockies. You made no additions to the pitching staff. In fact, if anything, you made subtractions. Max Fried's gone. That's not necessarily on Atlanta. Right? At the end of the day, if Max Fried wants to be a Yankee, he wants to be a Yankee. There's not much you can do about it. The whole offseason, we just kept waiting. We just kept waiting. Nothing happened. We walk into the season being told, hey, we think we are good enough. And not only are we not good enough, but a GM who I have spent, if you've been listening to this show or Bet for the Cycle or Bet MGM Tonight or any of the shows that I either host on or do interviews on, you have heard me say a lot of times, Alex Anthopoulos is the general manager of the decade because of the roster moves that he made that won the Atlanta Braves the World Series. But I'm also having to remind myself, it is 2025. We won the World Series in 2021. There's been a couple of good years since then, and winning a World Series is tough. There hasn't been a repeat World Series victor since 99-2000. It's not tough. The problem is, it feels like every year we just shoot ourselves in the foot. And it's a gnarly feeling to be 5 games into the season and realize, I don't care. I don't care. I stayed up last night to watch a first pitch that went through at 10:10 p.m. Do you know what I'm not doing tonight? That. I will not be staying up to watch a 10:10 p.m. first pitch on the West Coast tonight. I will get up in the morning. I will find out how badly the Braves lost, and I will carry on with my day. It sucks. It just... What a bright, enjoyable, musical start to the show, yeah? Let's talk some basketball. The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate. What did SGA do last night? I didn't watch any NBA last night. I should have. I should have watched anything but the Braves last night. Give me 30 seconds, guys. I'll be right back.
Are you playing Jameis audio later?
No, I'm not playing any audio because my Cool Edit was not connecting to my computer this morning, so I don't have anything recorded.
Okay.
Typically a nice steak, sweet potato, green bean. My middle name is Leonard, but it's spelled like differently. So a lot of people say Leonard, but I don't have an R, and my middle name is Leonard, like Leonard. My spirit animal would either be a tiger, because I have the eye of a tiger, or it would be a lion, because I'm the king of the jungle. A platypus is a platypus. Mm-hmm. It's a duck-billed anteater with a beaver tail. My favorite platypus of all time is Perry the platypus.
There we go.
Name me any other platypus.
So that's how I know the nice details of what a platypus is. If I was to be the first to discover life outside of Earth, my next move would be inviting friends over.
You got 1 minute.
This new Earth party that I'm about to throw. Probably looking for water so I can have something that's sustainable, so I can live on this new planet.
What's your go?
Well, okay.
I got something else. My sports fandom is like Charlie Brown kicking the football. I'm a Braves fan and a Carolina fan. I just got used to getting a rock when it comes to ball. But I got to marry the little redheaded girl, so I'll take that one. Hey, man, we like to focus on the positive around here. Good morning indeed. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, the Rob Brown Show on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Let's pick it up, shall we?
Pal.
Buddy?
Buddy? Buddy?
Let's pick it up a little bit. Let's have a little fun. Let's talk about some good stuff. Lonzo, give me some good stuff.
All right, we have an excellent interview that we did yesterday with superstar Matt Hardy. It was a lot of fun, and cannot wait to play you that at some point today. Not sure what segment Rob has it planned for.
I think we're going to do that at 8.
Okay,
at 8 o'clock. Because again, part of the grumpy this morning, and I am grumpy. I will acknowledge, like ordinarily.
Wow, like you had to acknowledge it. We know
because ordinarily I get accused of being grumpy. When I'm not being grumpy, I'm just talking about sports, and sometimes it doesn't put you in a great mood. Okay, but I'm not a grumpy guy. I don't like being grumpy. I like to think I am the dude that is obnoxious and likes to tell people, choose happiness. You're in control of your own emotions, no one else. I'm a big I'll tell you what I've gotten into the last couple of weeks, and I am prepared for all of your judginess. Tell you what I've gotten into the last probably 2 weeks, guided meditation. Oh, man, it's spectacular. Y'all, it's so good. It is refreshing.
What demon lord is your guide in this meditation?
It's not, what?
Guided
What?
meditation, that means some entity is guiding you in the meditation.
It's just a dude or a dudette. It's just a guy or a gal.
So it's an actual person. So why is it called? Okay, all right.
Okay, so meditation is just the mindset. It's just a practice in which you, much like you would work out a muscle, in which you make an effort to take more control over your mind space, over where your head is, right? Like you work out your brain in a way that you say, no, I'm not going to let my brain think negative thoughts. I'm not going to let my brain think bad things. I am going to make my brain think positively. Like it's working out your brain to be in a better headspace, which I just, like 2 weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this weird thing. And I sat on the floor in the living room and I just listened to a guided meditation. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's so good. It's the best thing. So in the past couple of weeks, I have really, more so than, and I feel like I've kind of always been this way, but more so than ever before, kind of adapted this mentality of.
This explains the shirt.
I like this shirt a lot.
That's a guided meditation kind of shirt.
I got like 2 more coming in different colors.
Of course you do.
I'm really excited. Did
it come with slippers?
It's a knitted shirt, first off. No, but I did wear flip-flops with it.
Okay, all right.
It's like it's a Miami dress shirt is what it is.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's like I can go drink Land Shark lagers on the beach with the boys, but like still have a collar on, you know? It's classy. It's Miami classy. South Beach classy. If I had a white linen jacket, I'd wear it with this. That kind of shirt.
Well, you can't wear white on white, can you?
This is blue.
I know.
Are you colorblind?
No, some people don't think it's the color you say it is.
I don't care what they think. It's a blue shirt. I can't help it. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Point is, I am absolutely the dude that has always been like, you know what? If I have the opportunity to be in a good mood, I'd prefer to be in a good mood. And now I've adapted this mindset over the past couple of weeks of practicing guided meditation, which has been spectacular. Of like, you know what? I will not let the Atlanta Braves control my mentality. I will not let the Atlanta Braves dictate my mood to me. I will dictate my mood to the Atlanta Braves and everyone else. All right? I am going to do that. And at any given moment, recognition of my feelings, recognition of my mentality, recognition and acknowledgement that I'm allowed to feel this way, but I am also allowed to change how I feel. And it's been phenomenal.
Okay, so how does guided meditation teach you how to deal with trolls?
It is the recognition when somebody acts like a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It is the ability to recognize you are attempting to make me feel this way, but I am in control of my thoughts and my emotions, and to put up a wall between me and that person and then say, you can't get through this wall.
So when you do such a thing, what you're saying is, I have found this, please test me. That's what I'm, because proof that the thing that you're doing that it's being effective is being tested to see if it's being effective.
The only problem with it is that one of the ways that you utilize this tactic and strategy is to take a moment in silence, is to like take a moment to silence yourself, silence your mental status, to like quiet your brain for just a minute and like effectively realign it, rewire it. And that's not great for sports talk radio.
Yeah, I was going to say there's only one way to do that for me, and that's to talk to someone in public. That's the only way my brain will go blank.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to go find center or whatever it is, there's too many things going on in there.
It is tough when you're on the radio to go,
stop it.
Okay, we're good now. We're good now. Text. Anyway, welcome to Hippie Sports Radio. It's Rob and Lonzo with you. What is happening here? Is that like an earpiece he's taken out of his ear? What is my man do? What is this thing? That's got to be a head.
Yeah, I think it's what
Sorry, I'm watching the.
What do you call those, IBFs?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. We're watching. All right. So last night okay. The Athletics.
It's wrapped around his ear. You can see it if you.
I think
look
it's
close.
got to be.
Yeah.
The Athletics, who are no longer the Oakland Athletics, but they're also not the Sacramento Athletics, even though they're playing in Sacramento. They're just the Athletics. They have dropped regional names. They started their season last night, their first home game at Sharing Sutter Health Park, the same AAA minor league stadium as the Sacramento Rivercats. Played a Major League Baseball game there last night. This is interesting because there are two teams right now that are playing their Major League Baseball games in minor league baseball stadiums. Now, one of them, not entirely their fault, the Tampa Rays. Remember, their stadium got all
Wow,
jacked
look at
up.
those crowds.
Their stadium got all jacked up in Hurricane Helene. It ripped through the juice box, and the juice box, being a stadium valued at roughly $27.35 worth of equipment, was just shredded. So they're having to play their home games in a minor league park where the Yankees play. The the Athletics, no city or state specified, are playing their games in a minor league baseball stadium in Sacramento, California. I have no real take on this other than I hope they both make the playoffs. I mean, obviously the A's are not making the playoffs. They stink. I really do hope the Rays make the playoffs. And the interesting thing about it is the Rays aren't a bad team. In fact, they're a very interesting team because that AL East, yes, the Yankees are real good at baseball right now. They're 3-0 with a, and this is correct. I did the math. The Yankees are 3-0 with a plus 22 run differential right now. The Rays are 3-0 with a plus 7 run differential. I picked the Red Sox to win the AL East. The Red Sox are 1-4. Rafi Devers is like 0 for 17 after being moved to the DH. Not great, Bob. Not great. I may have bleeped up bad with that pick. But I did say on the Saturday show, I think the Rays are interesting. I don't think they're as bad as a lot of people think they are, and they can win this division. I hope they do. Because there's nothing I want to see more than a Major League Baseball playoff game in a minor league baseball AAA stadium. I want to see an MLB playoff game with the Tampa Rays, and I'd love to see them hosting like a Yankees and have to do so in front of like 6,000 fans because they're in a minor league stadium. Now, the best part about that, and here's why I really do hope it happens for Tampa, my own entertainment, because part of the problem right now is that the Rays are asking for a new stadium. And when a team asks for a new stadium, what are they actually asking for? Anybody? Anybody? That's right. Millions and millions of dollars worth of tax breaks for billionaire owners to then build a stadium that they and no one else profit off of. But it creates jobs, allegedly. So, I'm really kind of intrigued by that. If for no other reason than the absolute dogfight that it's going to create between the Rays and the cities of St. Petersburg and Tampa. Because they're going to go, wait a minute, we just brought you playoff baseball. We just gave you a playoff baseball team. Except for every time they build a playoff baseball team, they turn around and like do something dumb the next year and get rid of a bunch of the guys. Oh, it's going to be entertaining as hell. It's good. You know, a minute ago when I said I choose my own mood and I'm going to choose happiness the rest of the hour, I lied. I choose confrontation and violence. I want to see the fight between the Rays and the city of Tampa. If the Rays put up a playoff team but are forced to play inside of a 6,000-seat AAA minor league ballpark. Oh, man. I will say this. Do you think that crowd would be absolutely raucous? I would like to think so. The problem is those tickets are going to go for $2,000 a seat to see not just a playoff baseball team and not just another good team come to town, but to do so in one of the most unique playoff environments of all time, a major league team playing in a minor league stadium. To say you were a part of that, those tickets are going for $7,000 a seat, which means that you're going to get a bunch of rich folks in there who don't probably have the passion of the beer drinking, fun loving crowd who love to sing their music and they love to play it aloud. That's a Garth Brooks lyric. You're welcome very much. I'm intrigued. I don't know where that's going to go. I don't know if the Rays can do it or not. Like I said, I think it's a better ball club than they're given credit for. I think that team could threaten 87, 88 wins this year. It's probably not going to be enough to keep up with the Yankees. But if the Orioles can't figure it out this year, and I'm not guaranteeing that they are, because last year was supposed to be the year that this young team in Baltimore figured it out, put it all together, and got it right, and they didn't do that. Is this year? I don't know. I wouldn't bet on it. I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying I didn't put any money on it. If the O's can't figure it out, the Rays might absolutely get it done. And if the Rays get it done, oh, man, Major League playoff baseball in a minor league stadium could be absolutely lit. That would be one I would actually be willing to fly down to Tampa to go see that. I'm not going to because, again, it's going to be $2,000 a seat to get in the building, but I would if I could afford it. I don't make Lonzo money, so I can't. But if I did, I would. All right, water cooler cheat sheet coming up in the next hour. We'll talk some college basketball as we move inch by inch closer to our Final Four on the men's side. The women's Final Four rounded out last night. We'll talk about what the Gamecocks are going to have to get through in order to win a back-to-back natty. We got that coming up for you. We will get some draft talk in here later on the show because it's about that time. We're now at, 25 days, I believe, until the MLB or the NFL draft. So it is fair to go ahead and start talking a little NFL draft. We'll get into that coming up in a little while. We got to get some NHL hockey in here too because the playoff race is coming down to it. There got about a month left in that season. And Lonzo said Luka's fat and out of shape before we started the show.
Did not.
Yeah, he did.
Did not.
What'd you say?
Did not.
What'd you say?
I was being sarcastic, saying that maybe the owners were right because he looked hurt last night. And even hurt, he still was better than most of the players on the
Point guard
team.
Luka's fun.
Yeah.
I like point guard Luka. Point guard Luka is just. Did you see the behind the back pass he threw to LeBron for the open three? Like he ticked some people off with that because it was so damn good. We might talk some Lakers. No, we might talk some Luka later. We'll see. Here's why Lonzo makes all that money Lonzo makes. It's the Sports Flash.
Let's talk about Braves outfielder Jurickson Profar. He signed to a 3-year, $42 million deal this offseason. Will be suspended 80 games. That's like most of the season.
Postseason.
And be ineligible for postseason play after testing positive for a banned substance. The Braves acquired outfielder Stuart Fairchild from the Reds in return for cash, who's expected to dress out today for Atlanta and continue to wait. Atlanta's waiting for Ronald Acuna Jr.'s return, which is over a month away. Texas Longhorns and UConn Huskies will join the Gamecocks of South Carolina in the women's Final Four. Texas knocked off in-state rival TCU 58-47 behind Madison Booker's 18-13 from Rory Harmon. Paige Becker's 31 led the Huskies to a 78-64 win over number 1 seed USC, with Sarah Strong adding 22 and Caitlin Chin recording 15. Tune in to Wire to Wire this afternoon, 3 to 7 p.m. Guided meditation. I don't know, Kane. All the Juricksons I know are pretty common people. I mean, they're good dudes.
a dead day in sports, man. Bum, ba-dum, bum.
Winning.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Rob Brown Show. Right here on the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the Great Lonzo, and you. 844-326-3663. That is the Hub City Spartanburgers text line. 844-FANFONE. If you want to text the radio broadcast, if you want to call the radio program, if you want to be a part of the 1% that ever interacts with the radio program, that's the number to do it. 844-326-3663, the Hub City Spartanburgers text line, and the Armada call-in line. Be a part of it. Jump on board. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Jurickson Profar and the Atlanta Braves, the women's Final Four as we get set. Paige Beckers drops a 30-burger last night on the USC Trojans, knocks off the 1 seed to move on to her next Final Four. Paige Becker's an interesting figure in women's sports because for a couple of years there, Paige Buckets was the biggest name in women's college basketball. And then there was like an explosion, and you can call it the Caitlin Clark effect.
Wait, who?
That lady right there, Paige Buckets.
No. It's K.
Oh, double C squared. Caitlin Clark, my homie, my dog.
Yeah, I haven't heard about.
I think
her
we're probably
in a while.
I think it was
In a
because it's
long
not
while.
WNBA season right now.
Oh, okay.
And she didn't play in the 3-on-3 league.
Okay, all right.
You will be hearing about her very soon because we are just a couple of weeks away from the WNBA draft and the beginning of the WNBA season. I am interested in seeing if the momentum built last year for the W, courtesy of Caitlin Clark, I am interested to see if that carries on.
They tried
into next year.
to kill it last year, so we'll see if they can hold that down.
I did see, apparently, like not but a couple of weeks ago, Angel Reese was on a podcast, and she was like, if they don't give us what we want in terms of compensation, we'll sit and we won't play, and then nobody's going to watch. And I was like, Angel, not right now, homie. Not right now. I am absolutely an advocate. I am absolutely on your side. I am absolutely a proponent of women's basketball. I am absolutely pushing this sport. I am absolutely doing the best I can for you. But right now, not the time to grab a mic and say you deserve NBA levels of pay. I'm not saying you don't deserve more, and we'll see if you're going to end up getting it, but you will have to grow the product more. You will have to get more money into the hopper in order to distribute more. And this whole, we'll either get it or we'll sit. It's like, I promise you, if you guys have a lockout, you will lose the momentum that's been built. And I don't want you to. I don't want you to. I purchased a Caitlin Clark jersey. When Tank Top Thursday returns, the red fever Caitlin Clark jersey goes into the rotation.
So why did that go away? I thought it was just because you forgot.
Because it got cold outside.
Is that? Okay.
Yeah, and I'm a wuss.
You can wear a shirt under it. Yeah, because it's been cold in here. Like, that's been a problem.
I got to get here.
It's not bad.
Man.
It's not bad right now.
No, it's actually real nice right now.
It is.
I like to think, what'd you call him? The air guy?
The air guy.
I like to think the air guy
Hey,
for doing yeoman's work yesterday.
we got an air guy in here yesterday.
You need air? I got a guy.
I got a guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 7:03 in the morning. You got less than 57 minutes until I didn't do the math. Less than 57 minutes till you got to get your behind up in that office. You got to crank out a couple of emails. You got to pretend that you care. You got to pretend you want to be there. You don't. You want to walk down the hallway. You want to go to the break room. You want to hide in that one unlit corner where the boss can't see you, and you want to talk sports. Well, if you want to do that, you got to know what's going on. And if you got to know what's going on, you need this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
before they take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go.
Welcome to the Water Cooler Cheat Sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It is the Water Cooler Cheat Sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know before you get to the office this morning and start talking sports with your coworkers. When you do, this is what you'll be talking about. Let's dive right in with item numero uno. You ever been in that spot where somebody does the bare minimum? When somebody does what is expected of them, and then they want praise heaped upon them? You ever been in that spot where somebody does, the least, and then they're like, shower me with gifts, sing my praises? It's really frustrating. It really is.
Where are my flowers at?
Yeah. Somebody wants their props for doing the thing they're supposed to do. It's wildly frustrating. Enter Cleveland Browns co-owner Jimmy Haslam. The NFL is having their meetings down in Palm Beach, Florida right now. There's some more conversations we got to get into. But Cleveland Browns co-owner Jimmy Haslam got in front of the media yesterday. He was asked a question about the 2022. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Deshaun Watson was traded to the Browns 3 years ago, a couple of weeks ago. In March 2022, Cleveland acquired Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans in a trade package that included 3 first-round picks. The Browns then signed Watson to a $230 million fully guaranteed contract. Since joining the Browns 3 years ago, Watson has started just 19 games because of suspensions and injuries. In those 19 games, he has posted one of the lowest total QBRs in the NFL and has now suffered consecutive season-ending injuries in 2023 and 2024. Yesterday, Jimmy Haslam said at the league's annual meeting, quote, "We took a big swing and a miss with Deshaun. We thought we had the quarterback. We didn't. And we gave up a lot of draft picks to get him. So we've got to dig ourselves out of that hole. The trade was an entire organization decision, and it ends with D and I. So hold us accountable." We'd love to, Jimmy. How would you like us to do that? Like, it drives me nuts. And for the record, he hasn't necessarily gone out and said, "See, I can take accountability." He hasn't necessarily grabbed a microphone and said, "This is me being a great owner. See, I acknowledge it." Like, he hasn't done any of that. But I kind of get that vibe. I guess what I would say here is, thanks, Jimmy Haslam, for acknowledging something that we all knew a year and a half ago. Thanks for acknowledging something that we all knew was the case certainly a year and a half ago, definitively at the end of last year, and have continued to be knowing for a hot minute here. I get so frustrated. Because you don't get credit for that. You don't get credit. It's kind of like if a guy walks up and slaps your lady's butt in the bar and you turn around and you shove him and the guy's like, "You know what? That's on me. That's a mistake. I shouldn't have done that." Bro, you're not off the hook for that. Oh, well, okay. I mean, as long as you recognize it's a mistake, that is organizational malpractice. And the thing is, we all kind of knew it was organizational malpractice when it happened. Even if Deshaun was good, 3 first-rounders and a guaranteed contract that locked up just about every damn dollar in the coffers for the next 4 years, they still owe the guy almost $50 million. Oh, I'm sorry. Per season for the next 2 seasons. Fully guaranteed. It's wild. I don't know. I don't necessarily know that that's a news story. I don't know how many of you still care about Deshaun Watson as a former Clemson Tiger. I don't know if anybody even cares about the Browns in this market. The point of this isn't the Browns or Deshaun Watson or Jimmy Haslam. The point of this is that owners continue to do this crap, and it's just wildly frustrating.
Yeah,
That's it.
But at the same time, throughout the history of sports, people complain that the owners are blind; they don't get it. At least, he's acknowledging that he screwed up.
I mean, I guess it's more than a lot of owners have done.
Yeah, I mean, he's still not a good owner.
This is
But,
a spot
you know.
where I would go, okay, Jimmy Haslam, we will hold you accountable. What are you doing to fix it? Right? Like, so what are you going to do? Well, how are you going to show? Actions matter more.
Flacco.
What are you going to do to make it right? We are willing to hold you accountable and let you off the hook. What are you going to do to fix it? Let's get to item number 2. The women's college basketball national tournament is underway as well. We already knew our first 2 teams that were headed to the Final Four. South Carolina knocked off Duke 54-50. UCLA, the overall number 1 seed, outpaced LSU to a 72-65 victory last night. The other 2 spots were secured. Joining the Gamecocks of South Carolina in the Final Four will be their SEC nemesis, the Longhorns of Texas. 58-47 winners over the TCU Horned Frogs. Haley Van Lith gave everything she had, 17 points and 8 boards with 2 assists and a steal last night. But at the end of the day, the 18 from Madison Booker, the 13 from Rory Harmon were enough to get it done for the Horns. They knock off TCU yesterday evening to claim Final Four spot number 3. Final Four spot number 4 belongs once again to the UConn Huskies. 78-64 winners last night over the USC Trojans. Paige Beckers, 31 points on 9 of 18 from the floor, 4 of 8 from behind the arc. She also went to the stripe 11 times and converted 9 of them, added 6 assists, 4 steals, and a couple of blocks to the stat sheet as well. 22 points from Sarah Strong, 15 more from Caitlin Chen was enough. Just 2 points off the bench for the Huskies, and that's one of those spots that you go, wait a minute. Is their front 5 that good? And the answer is yes. This is why I have said a couple of times, if and when South Carolina gets the opportunity to rematch with the Huskies, it is going to be of the utmost importance that this team figures out a way to take away the bench play. You have to slow down the starters, but you have got to win off the bench if you're going to beat UConn. And I do think whether it's in the semis or the Natty, I do think the game is going to be South Carolina UConn. USC UConn is going to be the game that determines the national champion. I'm intrigued to see how that whole thing shapes up. The way it is set right now is in the Final Four, UCLA and UConn, the overall 1 seed, and Paige Beckers will match up on the other side. South Carolina gets Texas in an SEC semifinal on the right side of the bracket. UConn favored by 8.5. That's why I said I do think that game in the championship is going to be the game of the Final Four. South Carolina favored by 4.5 over the Longhorns of Texas. Both of those games are on the 4th of April. That is this Friday night. The Horns and the Gamecocks will lock it up at 7 p.m. UCLA and UConn at 9 p.m. Let's go to item number 3. Bad news all around for the Atlanta Braves yesterday. They drop their 5th game. They fall to 0-5 to start the season. A 6-1 defeat at the hand of the L.A. Dodgers. Tyler Glasnow went to the bump for L.A. last night. 5 innings, just 2 hits allowed, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Grant Holmes took the ball to the mound for the Atlanta Braves. 4 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, all earned, just 3 strikeouts, walked 4 in his appearance. You did see Jesse Chavez last night. The 41-year-old made his return to the bump for the Atlanta Braves. 2 innings, gave up 2 hits, 1 earned, 1 walked, 2 K'd 1, did surrender a dinger last night as well. The Dodgers did not need it. They got a three-hit day out of Teoscar Hernandez. He went 3-for-3 with a home run mixed in there in the first inning off of Grant Holmes with one on. That made it 2-0 LA, and they never looked back. Put another couple on the board in the third, another one in the fifth, in the sixth. The Braves got one back in the eighth, but obviously at that point, too little, too late. But that is not even the big story. The big story is that Atlanta Braves outfielder Jurickson Profar has tested positive for a banned substance and began an 80-game suspension yesterday, dealing a blow to the Atlanta Braves team, navigating a bad start to the season. I don't know how else to put it. Miserable, tragic, horrific, horrendous, disgusting, nausea-inducing, whatever you want to call it. 0-5 to start the year, and now the guy that was the one big-name acquisition during the off-season, a guy who has had one good season at 31 years of age, is out for 80 games after testing positive. Lonzo, I'm not making this one up, for chorionic gonadotropin.
You sure you're pronouncing that right?
Gonadotropin, Gonadotropin. Feel free to pop that into the old Google device. It is a performance-enhancing drug, according to Major League Baseball. It is a substance that is utilized to help in the production of testosterone, which gonadotropin. If there's any doctors or nurses out there that want to tell me that I'm pronouncing it correctly or incorrectly, have at it. Chorionic gonadotropin. Anyway, 80 games suspended and ineligible for the postseason should the Braves make it. Spoiler alert, I don't think they're going to. The suspension comes without pay. Of course, the Braves coming off of a 4-game swept by the San Diego Padres, his old team. They scored a combined 7 runs, including 0 over the final 22 innings of that series. In the same day, Reynaldo Lopez was put on the injured list because of a shoulder inflammation. They had to call up Bryce Elder to take his turn yesterday. He will be on the active roster. They also added Jesse Chavez to the roster. The Bravos did acquire Stuart Fairchild, an outfielder from the Reds, in return for cash. He was added to the 40-man roster. He arrived in L.A., or is expected to arrive in L.A. today, which means the Braves played last night a player short. They will have the full 40 tonight. I don't really know that it's going to matter all that much because the team stinks. We'll see. And we'll talk more about it as the team continues to stink moving forward. So I got that for you as we roll on. All right.
Wait, I looked that up, and it comes from the placenta.
Well, there you go.
And that's where they get it, and then they use it for all right.
Gonadotropin. Gonadotropin? Gonadotropin? I don't know how to say it. I just know it has gonad in it, and that's funny to me. That's all. That's that's all I got. All right. We got a lot we got to get into on the radio program. We are going to talk some NFL draft on the program today. We are now well within a month of the, third most important day on the NFL calendar? So we got that coming up for you. We'll get some more baseball, not Atlanta Braves in here later on. We'll get some NBA in here later on in the show, some college basketball as we inch closer to this weekend's Final Four. All that more coming up as the Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate.
23 days until the draft. 24.
That was close. All right.
Yeah, told you it was a beautiful day out there.
It's a beautiful morning. on playing that audio today, so that'll be fun.
You couldn't find it.
No, I recorded it yesterday.
You stay classy.
So let's just keep the negativity rolling, shall we? I've been called worse. Regularly, I've been called worse. Coming into this NCAA Men's College Basketball National Championship Tournament. That's a lot of words to say. March Madness. We had a bunch of different conversations. One of the conversations was numbers, math, metrics. They'll tell you a lot about what you can expect to see.
Daggum trapezoid.
The trapezoid of excellence is one of the things that we keep an eye on. One of the other things that we talked about quite a bit was the Ken Palm rankings. The Ken Palm rankings are a metric developed by a gentleman by the name of Ken Pomeroy.
No way.
I know. That evaluate basketball teams based on a couple of different statistics, including efficiency. They measure offensive and defensive performance per 100 possessions. They have adjusted offensive and defensive efficiency. They measure your tempo, whatever, and they give you a net rating that is basically adjusted for the opponents that you play so that you end up with a success rating. The Ken Palm ratings are, by those in this line of business, the Ken Palm rankings are largely considered one of the best indicators of the potential success of a college basketball team in the tournament. The 4 top teams in the Ken Palm rankings, Duke, Houston, Florida, and Auburn in that order.
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar for some reason.
It should, Lonzo. It should. And it should because that is your Final Four exactly. Duke, Houston, Florida, and Auburn. 2 SEC schools, a Big 12 school, and an ACC squad. The Ken Palm ranking of the Duke Blue Devils, 39.62. The Houston Cougars, 36.49. The Florida Gators, 36.05. The Auburn Tigers, 35.25. From the Blue Devils down to the Tigers, the Ken Palm rating is a difference of 4.38, something like that. The fall off from Auburn down to the next group of Ken Palm rankings teams. Number 5 is Tennessee, 30.85. There is a 4.32-ish difference from Duke to Auburn, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there is a 5-point fall off from Auburn down to Tennessee and Alabama, 30.85 and 30.29. And then another 2-point fall off down to number 7, Michigan State, 28.25, Texas Tech, 27.98, Gonzaga, 27.96, and Iowa State at 26.75. So the Ken Palm ratings go: number 1, Final Four; number 2, Final Four; number 3, Final Four; number 4, Final Four; number 5, Elite 8; number 6, Elite 8; number 7, Elite 8; number 8, Elite 8; number 9, Sweet 16; number 10, Sweet 16. This is where the nerds come into play, but that's not what I want to talk about here. What I want to talk about here is the fact that yesterday, the lady friend is up in New York City for the week doing some work stuff. She's a big deal. She's up there rubbing elbows. She's at the New York Fashion Institute today doing a conference.
Sounds fancy.
It's very fancy. I'm like, please don't come back with New York Fashion Institute taste because I make Greenville, South Carolina Costco money. So we'll see how that goes. She's the breadwinner. I'm not ashamed of it.
Did she pick that shirt?
No, she hates this shirt. That's why I'm wearing it. If you ever see me in this shirt, just know the wife's out of town. For those of you that can't see, it's textured. See? It's knitted. It's textured.
It's.
By the way, this is what I see when I do the show. There's y'all. There's POV on the stream. You get something new every day. Anyway,
it looks like grandpa fashion, but I mean, what would I?
you know what? It's
I
not,
still wear t-shirts. So
it's
what do I do?
not a grandpa shirt. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not even going to push
All right.
back.
All right.
Yeah, it's not a grandpa shirt, but it's also very. Again, it's like grandpa, but also like kind of South Beach swag. The reason I bring this up is not because I want to sit here and try to once again tell you that nerds run the world. They do. The reason that I bring this up is because yesterday afternoon, with the lady friend out of town, what it led to is Rob Brown doing a lot of whatever the hell Rob Brown wanted to do around the house. And one of the things that Rob Brown likes to do when he's doing whatever the hell he wants to do around the house is, number one, not wear pants. Big fan. Number two, I listen to a lot of sports talk radio from a lot of different places. And I heard yesterday 2 or 3 different spots where hosts, including one of my colleagues here on the Fan Upstate, said that this tournament is anticlimactic and boring. Said that this tournament, as it did not have a Cinderella, it did not have a G5 caliber squad, a mid-major popping up and having some level of deep tournament success.
This person didn't go to that level of school, did they?
I shall neither confirm nor deny.
Okay, just curious.
Said that made this tournament boring. And I have been saying for a week and a half now. No, it did. Because whenever college football rolls around, now that we have a national championship tournament, that's what the playoffs are on the college side, a tournament. The war cry that I have heard for a very long time is what? We want to see the best teams. We want to see the 4 best teams. Guys, that's exactly what this tournament produced for you. It has produced the 4 best teams. And you can look at damn near any metric, and you will find that this tournament has produced the 4 best teams. Duke, Houston, Florida, and Auburn. And I do think the Final Four is going to be absolutely electric on Saturday. And the national championship game on Monday, regardless who plays in it, is also going to be, again, absolutely electric. I can't wait. It gave you the 4 best teams. And frankly, it gave you the 4 best teams. And it's not particularly close. Now, I was looking at this yesterday, and I saw a cat on X who tweeted out, he goes by the handle Average Joe Sports Betting. And he said, quote, there has been maybe 1 or 2 competitive games in 2 weeks. It's okay for people not to be in love with this tournament. Final Four might be awesome, but so far it's been pretty uncompetitive. And I have a couple of different responses to that. First off, did you watch the games? Because I can go back to the first round and I can point out Mississippi State Baylor, which was an awesome game. I can point out St. Mary's Vanderbilt, which was an awesome game. I can point out Alabama Robert Morris, which, despite being a 15-2 matchup, was an awesome game. I can point out Clemson McNeese, one of the few upsets, also an awesome game. Well, if you're not a Clemson fan, awesome game. I can go back and point out, what else? St. John's Omaha. Well, no, that was St. John's Arkansas was a great game in the second round. Arkansas Kansas, first game, great round. Mizzou Drake, another upset, great game in the first round. Then you can move on. That's only 3 of the brackets. Then you can move on to the second round. Auburn Creighton was a great game. Michigan Texas A&M, until Michigan pulled away very late, was a great game. What else in the second round? Florida UConn, one of the most electrifying games of all time. Maryland Colorado State, buzzer beater, great game. Mentioned it. Arkansas St. John's, great game. Over on the other side of the bracket, Tennessee UCLA, great game. Until Kentucky pulled away from Illinois out of 40 minutes. 33 of them, great game. I mean, anybody who says that, I've come to the realization the tournament's only going to be great if you get a bunch of chaos. But just because of the fact that brackets aren't falling the way that average Joe sports betting on Twitter wants them to go, it's not there. But there was another comment that I found very interesting, which was, I think a big problem in this tournament is we no longer get veteran-heavy G5 teams versus young elite top talent teams. All the great veterans move to the top handful of programs, leading to a wider gap in basketball. Now, I will say this. I don't necessarily fully disagree with that take. Because as we talked about yesterday, if you went and look at the rosters of the teams in the Sweet 16, there were more starters that came from transfers than there were guys who grew up. There was only, Purdue was the one school, I think, that all 5 starters started their career at the school they were playing for in the Sweet 16. Every other team had at least 1 transfer. Some of them had 2. A handful had 3. 1 had 4. I think there was one Sweet 16 team that had all 5 starters as transfers. But I would also go on to say, when has that ever not been the case? When have we ever had any of those Cinderella teams like be Final Four teams? You had Florida Gulf Coast a few years ago. And yes, we pointed out the fact of that FGCU team, their 3 best players all were starters in the Sweet 16 on big-time programs. Yes. However, that's not new. That's not new. It's kind of always been that way. This is why your natties are always Power 5 schools or those few mid-major schools that make their way up into becoming powerhouses that you recognize the names of, teams like St. John's. This tournament's good. This tournament was good. This tournament remains good. I just don't get it. Like I said, if you have not enjoyed this college basketball national championship tournament, you just don't enjoy basketball. You enjoy being able to brag about your bracket, which respectfully, I don't care about. You enjoy drama, which again, I do care about. We all love a little drama. That's why we do this. Love a little drama. But at the end of the day, I love basketball. I love the sport. I want to see the best teams play. And realistically speaking, we got the best 4 teams playing. All right, speaking of the best 4 teams, we'll get some NBA talk in here later on because it's a real interesting lake. Can you tell what I was about to talk about? The Lakers have dropped from 2nd in the West down to 4th in the West, but they're only 2.5 games out from the Houston Rockets. Is that right? Yes, it is. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. The Rob Brown Show rolls on, the Fan Upstate.
No, Steven, you didn't miss Sting. Sting had to reschedule, but we did interview Matt Hardy, so we're going to be playing that later.
We'll do that next segment.
Oh, okay.
So this torpedo bat story, I know not all of you are baseball guys. I still find the story wildly interesting. I find it interesting because of a bunch of different things. We've talked about a few of them already. We have talked about the fact that the Yankees kept them largely under wraps when they debutted a couple of days ago for the Yanks. And the Yankees hit, 16 home runs or 17 home runs in 2 games, whatever dumb number it was. I think, 15. A lot of home runs in 2 games. And a lot of people said, all right, well, I mean, you still got to be able to hit the ball, but, like, the bats probably don't hurt. And there's been a lot of conversation about them. Major League Baseball came out, said, the rules are not being broken. These bats do not violate the rules. They meet every specification. They meet the length, weight, girth specifications of Major League Baseball's rules for baseball bats. Well, since then, we have now seen a few more players that have figured out how to get their hands on the torpedo bat. One of them was Elly De La Cruz of the Cincinnati Reds. He broke out the torpedo bat yesterday. 4 of 5, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, 4 runs, 11 total bases collected yesterday. Elly De La Cruz, one of the best hitters, one of the best runners in Major League Baseball. It is kind of the conversation of like Tiger with the gear, right? Like people want to be like, oh, you know, Tiger couldn't have beat Jack without the equipment. It's like, I don't know, man. Put him on the same equipment. Dude's still got to be a good golfer. I've spent a lot of money on golf equipment. Turns out I still suck. Who knew? Everyone I've ever golfed with. Not the point. The point is, yes, equipment goes a long way. And that is another interesting angle of this story for me is scientists, data guys, nerds getting involved in the creation and implementation of the tech that guys are using. So we have now gotten, courtesy of Jeff Passan of ESPN, a little bit more info on how this torpedo bat has come to be. According to Passan, who put up an article yesterday on ESPN, a cat by the name of Aaron Leanhart, who was a minor league hitting coordinator for the New York Yankees, was talking to players who were talking about the fact that pitching's gotten better the last couple of years, which makes sense. It's an arms race. It's evolution. As batters have gotten better and more talented, pitchers have caught up. Enter Paul Skeens.
Arms race. Very good.
Thank you very much. I workshopped that one. Leanhart, in the end of the 2023 season, went into the spring basically saying, I was having conversations with players. They were frustrated by how good the pitching has gotten. So Leanhart, who is an MIT-educated physics professor at the University of Michigan, was in that position for 7 years before he left academia for athletics. Why? Because he wanted to bring that knowledge over. So he started having conversations with players. The players were talking about the fact that strikeout rates were on the increase. Hitters wanted to counter that by making more contact. So Leanhart said, all right, how do we do this? How do I make this happen? We can't make the barrel longer. We can't make the barrel longer. And more importantly, and this was the thing that Leanhart told Passan that was very interesting, was that if they just simply elongated the fat part of the barrel, that is to say, instead of making the bubble that they did, moving the mass from here all the way down to the end of the bat. He said after doing the math, he realized that a heavier barrel at the end would have actually slowed the swing speed of Major League Baseball players down, which would have made it obviously even harder to hit the baseball. So he said, instead of just adding mass to the bat, and instead of moving the mass from the handle down to the end of the barrel, he said that you've got to look at the 31 to 32 ounces over the specific length the bat can be shaped, constructed. And instead of moving it around, let's just move it to the middle. And he used his MIT education degree to come up with the torpedo bat. The Yankees obviously had great success. Elly De La Cruz broke it out yesterday. As we mentioned, 2 home runs, 11 bags collected, 7 RBIs, 4 runs scored for Elly De La Cruz yesterday. And he's not cheating. Baseball's good with this. Now, there was the story yesterday that nobody else was going to be able to use this thing because the Yankees had the design, but somehow Elly De La Cruz and a couple of other players broke out these bats yesterday, and they had success with it. They had success with this. Somebody described it yesterday as a bowling pin made out of wood. And it's like, that's the best shape description I've been able to come up with so far. A bowling pin. Stretched out to a baseball bat. It's pretty fair. This story intrigues me for all the reasons I have mentioned. It is the science, the physics angle to it. It is the secrecy with which the Yankees went through the offseason preparing to utilize these bats. It is the fact that the Yankees kept the design and creation of these bats under wraps. It is the fact that within a day of reports coming out that the Yankees were the only team that had the designs, and if other teams wanted them, they were going to have to come up with their own and figure it out on their own. And then within a day and a half, other teams had them. Again, these bats made their debut on Thursday, Friday last week. Saturday was the day they exploded onto the scene because the Yankees hit a lot of home runs. And again, it's going to take ball players a couple of days to get their swing into the regular season, and now everybody's paying attention to them. And I have just found this story beyond fascinating. That we've got the science angle, we've got the secrecy James Bond angle, we've got the covert nature, we've got other teams figuring it out, and now, as soon as one of the best hitters in baseball got their hands on one of these bats, he sets a career high in single game RBIs, goes yard twice, collects 11 bags in the process. It's pretty spectacular. It's an interesting story to me. Major League Baseball has already said at one point, because I saw yesterday on Reddit, the conversation was, these things are going to get banned. And my response was, no, it's not. MLB has already come out and said, not only are they not breaking the rules, and this is why I don't think they're getting banned. MLB has already come out and said, not only are they not breaking the rules, they didn't say this part, but they said it without saying it. But on top of that, we are getting a pattern of dingers. And at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, whether we think it's fair or not, and this is obviously subjective and everybody's going to feel differently about it, home runs people get people invested. Saturday on Bet for the Cycle, our weekly Parlay v Parlay Challenge game was Yankees-Brewers, the home run game, the game that the Yankees hit 1,000 balls into outer space. We had bets on that game. We were watching that game. We watched, Cody Decker and I, the first 3 pitches of the game all get sent into low Earth orbit. And we started talking about it. And the next thing you know, we're watching, and all of a sudden, Yankees is trending on Twitter. Yankees Brewers is being picked up on ESPN and put on their live shows. They're like breaking into other games to talk about it. All of the sudden, we were going live on Twitter and YouTube, and our viewership exploded. I think at one point I was told by one of the background producers that our YouTube stream at about 1:30 after the Yankees hit home run like number 6 in that game, our YouTube viewership was the highest that it has been in the 4 years we have been doing this radio program on Saturdays. 4 years we've been doing the show. It's the highest it's ever been. And what's interesting about that is that we have the highest viewership on YouTube of any of the weekend shows. And we crushed our own numbers while the Yankees were playing. Major League Baseball is not going to change these bats. And they're not going to change these bats because y'all are paying attention. Y'all are paying attention. We just had 2 days in a row where Yankees talk, that's not Yankees talk, it's baseball talk, has not just been accepted, but people are talking about it. People are tweeting about it. People are sending me tweets in the middle of the night about it because it is fascinating. And you got people out here talking about getting it banned. It's not going to get banned. And I would even go one step further and say this. You guys know that I am a follow the letter of the law, and no player should be given an advantage or disadvantage by changing the rules of the game to benefit one player over another. I do not think that the rules of the game should be shifted or should be changed in order for one player to gain an advantage. However, if one team or player can figure out a way within the rules to use math, science, and physics to give themselves an advantage, I'm great with it. I'm great with the torpedo bat. I think it's fantastic. Just like a very long time ago, somebody, somewhere, at some point figured out that if I take a baseball and I loop my fingers on the side of one of these laces, and instead of just throwing it as fast as I can at home plate, if I put my finger on the side of this lace and I come to the top and snap my wrist at the end, the ball spins, and when it gets to the batter, it drops out of the way. Somebody figured out how to throw a curveball. And then shortly after that, somebody said, okay, well, if I snap it over the top and it curves, if I snap it to the side, it's not going to curve down, it's going to curve sideways. And they figured out how to throw a slider. And then somebody said, wait a minute. If I do that, but I apply it to a regular fastball motion and I come over the top with it, I can throw a splitter. And we started having all these different ways that guys throw in the ball to start a play. Figured out that if I do this with my arm and then that with my wrist, I can make the ball move around. And did somebody in baseball go, oh, we need to ban that so that the guys at the dish don't have it? No, they went, it's within the rules of the game. We're good with it. I'm good with the torpedo bat. Again, when people, we're going to ban the tush push. No, bleep that. Just because the Eagles do it better than you, just because you haven't figured out how to stop it, doesn't mean we ban it. They didn't ban the curveball. I am not on board with banning the torpedo bat. In fact, quite the opposite. I think it's great. I think it's, as we mentioned earlier, pardon the expression, an arms race. What are pitchers going to do to start to work around this? I got to suspect that at some point, a team is going to hire some data analyst to go pull every at-bat of Aaron Judge with this torpedo bat, of Cody Bellinger, of Jazz Chisholm, of Ellie De La Cruz with these torpedo bats. And they're going to look and they are going to say, okay, this just means that if the ball's on the inner third of the plate, their contact rate goes from X to X plus Y. However, there's less mass on the end of the bat now. It's a little thinner at the end of the bat than it used to be. So now I might have a shift. I might not be going, and this is where I again, it's hypothetical from me. But I suspect sometime in the very near future, we are going to see a shift from guys that throw routine 100+ mile an hour heat to a new crop of pitchers that are much more precise with their placement of the baseball. It's not going to be about throwing 103 anymore. Now it's going to be about, all right, you know that the cold zone for this guy and the fact that the edge of the bat is thinner, meaning you're going to get dead balls, you're going to get a lot more pop-outs, and you're going to get a lot more dud grounders because there's less area, just that last 2 inches of the baseball bat, just that last little bit, just the tip. If I can get a pitcher who is able to get the ball in a spot, whether it's a batter that pulls the wrist through or a batter that throws the hands out and extends, right? There's less mass on the handle. There's less mass at the tip of the bat. So if I can start to analyze a batter's swing and realize this is the batter that pulls the hands in or a batter that throws the bat out there, now I need a pitcher who can place the baseball. It's less about burning it past him at 102. It's now about, can I put it just on the inside of the rubber? For that batter that pulls the hands, can I put it just inside the rubber so I'm making contact with the inner portion of the baseball bat where it's thinner? If a guy throws his hands out there, can I get it off the outside where I'm making him hit it with the edge of the bat so I'm getting a lot of more dead balls off the edge of the bat? You're about to see some data analysts watch a lot of tape to figure out how do we get pitchers who can place the ball and how do we teach them where to place the ball batter by batter to take advantage of this new baseball bat. I'm freaking excited by it. But then again, I'm a big dork. What do you want? You know who's not? Lonzo. He's a sports expert. That's why he does the Sports Flash.
Absolutely. That's why I'm going to talk about the Atlanta Braves.
Can you let me leave the room first?
It's 5 losses in a row, walk faster, to start the season for the Atlanta Braves after a 6-1 loss at the Dodgers. Didn't walk fast enough last night. Grant Holmes took the loss, allowing 4 hits and 4 earned runs with 3 Ks in 4 innings. Atlanta collected 4 hits, including a Michael Harris, the second homer, but went 0-6 with runners in scoring position. The Dodgers reached base on 9 hits and 6 walks. Texas Longhorns and UConn Huskies will join the Gamecocks of South Carolina in the women's Final Four. Texas knocked off in-state rival TCU 58-47 behind Madison Booker's 18-13 from Rory Harmon. Paige Becker's 31 led the Huskies to a 78-64 win over the number 1 seed USC, with Sarah Strong adding 22 and Caitlin Chen recording 15. Tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 for Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and Diesel right here on the Fan Upstate.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate, the all.
Wednesday or Thursday, Steven, is when Sting supposedly is going to happen. So we'll see. Hopefully it still happens. These guys have busy schedules and sometimes things come up. You coming back or are we just starting it?
No, I'll intro it because I forgot to segue it on the way out. Intro the hour and then I'll pitch to it.
Okay.
How long did it end up being?
16 and a half. Or a little over 16 and a half.
It'll be a quick intro. And off we go into the third hour of the show. The Rob Brown Show is right here on the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, and you rolling through the foremost electrifying hours in sports, talk, entertainment, anywhere. If you've listened to this show for any length of time, you know that both Lonzo and I think that
professional wrestling is cool.
And that's because it is. It is one of the most pure art forms out there. That's why we are both big fans. And yesterday, as we prepare for this weekend's South Carolina Comic-Con, taking place right here in the GVL, at the Greenville Convention Center. There's a lot of professional wrestlers out there that are coming to hang out with us here in the upstate of South Carolina. One of them is Matt Hardy. Well, actually, two of them are the Hardy brothers. Matt and Jeff will both be here. Yesterday, Lonzo and I got the opportunity to welcome back to the show, buddy of the show, Matt Hardy, to sit down and talk a little bit of pro wrestling, a little bit of SC Comic-Con, and it went a little something like this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Rob Brown Show on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate, the only show in the upstate of glorious South Carolina that doesn't just talk professional wrestling. We love professional wrestling, and that is why we are very, very excited to welcome in a living legend is our next guest as he gets set for an appearance at South Carolina Comic-Con. A young man currently wrestling with Total Nonstop Action, TNA, one half of the TNA World Tag Team Champions, his third reign in that spot. And of course, you've seen him on TV for like many years, doing many things and carrying many belts. The legendary Matt Hardy joining us here on the show. Matt, what's up, big dog? How we doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you guys so much for that great, kind, and warm introduction. Yes, it is my third reign as a TNA World Tag Team Champion. I have had 15 reigns altogether in totality. So yeah, I've been doing this for a minute, and I like that introduction of this young man, Matt Hardy. I like it.
All right, along those lines, I'm glad you mentioned that. There is a big time beef going on X right now between you guys and the Dudleys. So you are the greatest tag team of all time, right?
Yes, period.
I like that. That might be my favorite answer we've ever gotten on the show.
What is going to come of this? Are you guys going to get back in the ring, or is this just some verbal sparring?
Well, I can tell you this. Myself and Jeff, we're out there doing it every week. We just went against one of the greatest tag teams in the world right now, Fraxium, on WWE programming, went toe-to-toe with them, and we defeated them. And we're proving, we weren't just good in, the 90s and the 2000s and the 2010s. We are excellent in the 2020s. And I don't know if the Dudleys could stand up to the test of time. And I'm very curious of that. If these guys are willing to step into the ring with us and try and run hard, we're still running harder than ever. We are going harder than ever. We are the best tag team champions. I think we are the best current tag team in all of pro wrestling. We're the most over. We're the most popular tag team in all of pro wrestling. If the Dudleys think they have what it takes to get into the ring and go one-on-one with us again, they're going to be in for a rude awakening because they have no idea what they're stepping in the ring with, because we're rocking and rolling like the year's 1999.
Wow. See, I mean, and Bubba, he's training the kids. He's on the radio. I don't know how much he's been in the ring lately. And you just talked about going toe-to-toe with Fraxium. What's it like seeing wrestlers who had the kind of speed and that you had when you guys were first breaking in? Because they are really, really fast.
They're incredibly fast. The fastest tag team we've ever been in the ring with. It's different because we almost implemented the game plan of the Acolytes when they were taking on the Hardy Boys, because we knew that we were going to have to stick and move to get John Bradshaw Layfield and get Ron Simmons down. So we were rocking and rolling. We would do that, but once in a while they would catch us, and when they catch us in that awkward position, they could take advantage of us, and that's what ultimately led to our defeat against those guys. So we apply that same principle and that same formula to facing guys like Fraxium, any of these smaller guys that we face, and that's what we do. We become the power men in there, and we slow them down, and we shut them down, and we counter their own thing.
It's kind of interesting to me. We've talked to you in the past, Matt, about your ability to adapt your personality in the ring and adapt the style of wrestling to that. And it's interesting that as somebody who obviously grew up loving Team Extreme and the Hardy Boys, and you guys were known for being fast and being all over the ring and all that, to talk about the fact that you've now got to implement a little bit of power in your matches to try to slow down, especially some of these young and upcoming, and I don't want to say Fraxium is young and upcoming, but tag teams like that. Talk to me about being able to adapt your style in the ring to match what the needs are as you face new and different tag teams in TNA, in NXT, et cetera, and kind of how that compares to having to adapt your personality over these years as a wrestler as well.
Yes. I mean, that's one thing. Jeff and I, we are very cognizant and we are aware of where we're at. We both do ice baths, cold plunges every morning, and they have done miracles for our bodies. We both train our asses off and we work hard. And we realize as we get a little older, and, you've obviously taken a lot of bumps off your bum card, we're not going to be as fast as we once used to be. We're not going to be quite as nimble as we used to be, but we still have the power and we have the experience and we have the knowledge. So when we get in with teams that are smaller than us, which is often the case nowadays, we do know how to counter them. We know how to strike them down out of the air and catch them in the most compromised, vulnerable positions and take advantage of it. And that's what we do. Not only did we do it with Fraxium, we also did it with the Rascals. We did it with ABC. We did it with the Young Bucks. We've done it with all those teams. So that is something we have become a master of at this point. And you were talking about Bubba early. Bubba's on the radio. He's on TV doing the LFG show. He's got a lot of talking going on, and that's what he excels at more than anything else. He can truly talk the talk. He can talk trash all day long. He's one of the best speakers ever been in a wrestling ring, but can he walk the walk at his current age like Matt and Jeff Hardy can? That's my question. Same goes for Devon.
Yeah, I've been enjoying LFG, by the way, and but it's good to see that Bubba finally got some points yesterday. So, are you the best brother tag team? Because it looks like something's going on with you guys in the Nemeths.
Well, yes, there is something going on with us in the Nemeths, no doubt about that. We've always liked Nick, always got along good with him. His story of doing 20 years at WWB and working his way up from the very bottom, I thought was very inspiring, motivating to a lot of people, and I think a lot of people looked at him like such. But he obviously had a premeditated plan to betray me in the cage, and it's because I didn't allow his brother to be part of myself and Joe Hendry's team. And it is what it is, and I think he really revealed his true character, because true characters often always emerge in this business. And now for him to have the audacity to say him and his weird, strange little brother, Ryan Nemeth, to say that they are the greatest brother tag team ever. I mean, it's preposterous, right? They're going to get a chance because we are facing them at a big pay-per-view in Los Angeles. And whenever that goes down at the end of this month, April 27th to 28th, you're going to see once and for all that the Hardys are going to beat the we're gonna beat everything out of the Nemeth, especially for portraying me in the cage like he did.
Let's go. Matt Hardy joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate, getting set for SC Comic-Con coming up this weekend. The Hardys will be making their appearance at that event. We're very much looking forward to getting out there and being part of it one more time again. Matt, I would like you to, I know we're talking a lot about what's going on in your career right now, but I would like to take you back to very, very early in your career. I'd like to take you all the way back to the early days, 1994, 95, 96. I was looking through when you were first getting your start, up and coming, learning the ropes. Some of the guys that you would have matches with at the time, names like Razor Ramon, Akushi Owen Hart, Triple H, then at the time, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, etc. The Ringmaster, Steve Austin. I heard that guy had a bit of a name change later on down the pipe. Can I ask you, of those days, those early days, when you were taking the lumps and taking the bumps against some of the bigger names at the time and climbing your way up that ladder, do you have any great stories that stand out to you? Or were there any one or two experiences during that time period that you were like, holy crap, this is real and this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life?
Yeah, I do have. I have some great stories. We actually had a pretty good relationship with all the Click guys. Jeff's very first match was against Scott Hall, and he got put in there last second. And Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, was pretty upset because he got switched out last second. He rubbed Jeff up pretty good. He came back, and then he said, like, thank you. You know, worked real hard. Sorry you got hurt. Jeff legitimately hurt his knee in that very first match. You know, he was 16 years old. They made him lie about the age, the promoter that took us. And we're back there, and I'll never forget the Click guy said, oh, look at these Hardy guys. They're good. I see some potential in them. Maybe down the road, you know, they're good for what they're doing right now. And then I'll never forget how Kevin Nash said, well, you know, Scotty said, you sure did beat the hell out of this guy, considering, you know, he was, you know, out there working so hard for you. And he said, look at him. He kind of looks like Vanilla Ice. And Jeff used to have his hair cut, and it was kind of based like Vanilla Ice. Jeff would dance, do the whole thing. Jeff was a big Vanilla Ice fan. And then he said, look, he looks kind of like Vanilla Ice. And Scott Hall said, yeah. He said, I think I'm just going to start calling you Ice. And then I'll never forget the 1, 2, 3 kid, Sean Waltman, great guy. He says, bump, 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 because that's just what Jeff had been doing, bumping like crazy.
So the note here, Matt Hardy, is go home, give myself a fade, dye my hair blonde, and good things will happen to me too.
Well, it worked out for Jeff. I can't promise that for everybody, but he was at the right place at the right time and got the right beating that day, I guess.
All right, we are talking to Matt Hardy, longtime wrestling great, one of the best of all time, and he's going to be at South Carolina Comic-Con April 5th and 6th. That's this Saturday and Sunday. How cool is it to have your wife and the goth baby at the con with you?
It's going to be great. I'm so happy that Queen Rebecca is making her way down there, and the goth baby, she's a huge sensation. You know, her children's book was a smashing hit. She's viral online. People ask me about Gothic Baby all the time. So, yeah, that's going to be great that they're there and I get to share the experience with them. And it's cool because Jeff's there as well. And I think actually all of my kids will probably come because they're like all into wrestling and cons and whatnot. They've been bugging my wife to take a new photo of those three so they can be the Hardy Boys second gen, and they want to sell it. They want to try and hustle as much money as they can too, which is funny. But we're going to have a good time down there. And these Comic-Cons are very fun to us because we actually have time to interact with the people and like hear their stories about how they grew up. There's a lot of people who come through us like, oh my God, I got in so much trouble with my childhood because I broke my bed or I broke my couch because I was doing swantons on it or leg drops off of it. And it's a great time to really get to interact with us. That's one of the coolest things about doing con experiences because the days are longer and you get more personal time to hang out and interact with your superstars and whoever it is you're coming there to meet. So that's what Jeff and I really love about these events.
Okay, I may or may not have at one point gotten in trouble living in a 2-story house because I tried to swanton my brother off. We had like an inside railing, you know, and I tried to hit one onto the couch. I missed. I broke both the couch and my own arm at the same time. Matt, I'm not saying that's your fault. I'm saying it's happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could try and get WWE and Vince McMahon and crew, but they would just say, "Hey, we said don't try this at home."
They did. There was like a whole advertisement about that.
Movement started, right? You know, I love that though, but I hear those stories so much, and I just end up saying, "Hey, sorry we got you in trouble," or "Sorry you broke your arm," or "Sorry you broke whatever bone." But I'm glad you had a good childhood.
All right, you talked about going to how much you enjoy the cons. Have you ever been to a con and met someone that made you nervous? A big-time star or something that you're like, oh, I can't believe I'm meeting this guy or this girl?
No, there's nobody. I don't think there's anybody that I've ever met that I've been that big of a fan that I would have been nervous about yet. But I don't know, and maybe I'm past that. Maybe I'm just too old. Maybe I'm past that. But there's a lot of people that I would like to run into that I think it'd be super cool to have a picture with and whatnot. I would probably say one guy that I'm a big fan of, just Dexter, or a lot of the stuff Dexter did. Michael C. Hall, who plays that character, love his work. A lot of inspiration came from him. Even doing the Broken Matt Hardy stuff, I applied some of that to the whole universe and whatnot. But there are a lot of guys that are there that are just really cool, and it's funny how many guys know who Jeff and I are just because we've been around in wrestling for so long. It's pretty amazing.
I was going to say there are a lot of people that would be a nervous wreck to meet you guys this Saturday and Sunday, but what a cool experience that's going to be at South Carolina Comic-Con, April 5th and 6th.
We are talking to Matt Hardy here on the show. There was one moment, and we've not gotten to talk to you in a hot minute here, Matt. That return at WrestleMania a few years ago was, and I mean this, probably the biggest couch pop that I have ever couch popped watching that event. And obviously, WrestleMania has got moment after moment after moment. It's like kind of the entire point of that event. But when the then New Day introduced you guys and the music hit, I cannot recall a louder WrestleMania moment. And I've been at 2 and watched every other one of them. When that music popped and you guys heard that roar from the crowd, was there kind of that moment of both of you guys as brothers looking at each other like, holy crap? Or did you guys just kind of click into, hey, it's go time mentality?
I think we did click into it's go time mentality. And that whole day, there's been so many entrances. I'll never forget Michael Hayes gave us a big pep talk before WrestleMania 17, the TLC 2 match. And he said, this is like you're wrestling in front of a sold-out stadium. This is crazy. You don't get a lot of these moments. You don't get a lot of moments like this in your career, so make sure to take this in as you look down, like be present in the moment and take it in. And I wanted to apply that advice to WrestleMania 33, but we had just like snuck into the venue. We had got up there so quickly, and we're in here. There's hugs with Shawn Michaels and John Cena and then Vince and Triple H and just all the people coming back and just seeing them for the first time in a long time. Okay, now we're going out, and there's not like a lot of time to really process what you're doing. And we hadn't seen the arena that day because we'd done a long 5 or 6 hour marathon signing. So we stepped out into the arena, and just that ovation and just seeing these seas of humanity just doing the delete swipe, delete, something we created in TNA, which was literally on the verge of going out of business, so we made sure to keep it around until it was sold or whatever. It was very overwhelming, and it was hard to even make that memory be so vivid because it was so loud. The energy was palpable, the emotion was palpable in the arena. It almost feels like a dream in some ways because it was kind of blurry around the edges. Just looking, and I had these instances where I see these fans that are just madly doing delete over and over. They're like, oh my God, they can't believe this, and they're losing their mind. It was truly, and I think the longer time goes on, the more it climbs up the list of great moments. It's definitely a top 3 moment for myself and Jeff, and it really is something I am so grateful we were given that moment by WWE. It was absolutely magical.
Matt Hardy, one half of your current TNA World Tag Team Champions, his 3rd reign, his 7th to 800th reign as a world champion tag team wrestler, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Matt, great to have you back on the show, buddy. Looking very much forward to seeing you over at SC Comic-Con this weekend, pal.
You got it. And there's one thing I would love to plug real quick.
Yes, please do.
We are also doing on Saturday night a Hardy Party, which is something Jeff and I were kind of leaning into now, trying a lot more. Jeff is a big fan of doing live music and singing. He's been working on his voices and his vocals so long. He's put out all kinds of music. So I am actually, it's going to be starting at 7:30. It's going to be at the Irish Pub in Greenville, South Carolina. It's 214 North Pleasantburg Drive, Greenville, South Carolina. Myself and Jeff are going to be there at 7:30. I'm going to be doing a live rendition of my Extreme Life of Matt Hardy podcast starting at 7:30 to about 8:30. And then Jeff is going to come follow with an acoustic concert, him and his guitar player. And these things are pretty magical, man. We do a lot of interaction with the fans all throughout, and we do Q&As, we answer questions, and then we do our best to entertain them. So this has been a really fun outlet that we're really big into, and we're really happy to be doing one of these in the Carolinas, especially in South Carolina down in Greenville. We hope we can see you all there. It's going down at the Irish Pub on April the 5th. It starts at 7:30.
Matt Hardy, I'm not going to say that I'm spending like a solid night or two a week at the Irish Pub 3 minutes from my house. I'm just saying, yeah, I'll probably see you there, pal.
Excellent.
My
or
man.
as Broken Matt Hardy would say, wonderful.
Clip it, pull it, going on the show forever. Matt Hardy joining us here, man. Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday, pal. Thank you very much.
You got it. Thank you so much, man. Thanks, guys. See you then.
Anytime. Matt freaking Hardy, ladies and gentlemen, joining us right here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
You didn't fix it. Just have to hold it.
Buddy? Deep.
Solid talk there with Matt Hardy. Enjoyed that quite a bit. What a dude. Second time we've had Hardy on. Every single conversation has been fantastic. Chris Jericho, the two most adaptable versatile dudes in pro wrestling. Like two dudes that have just reinvented themselves, and it hits every time.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
It worked just fine for me. Matt Hardy got...
I wouldn't say it. I was just playing Jericho.
No, for
I had
sure.
Jericho. I completely agree with you.
I mean, Matt Hardy just got saying the word delete over. Chris Jericho got a clipboard over. It was spectacular. It was untouchable. Yeah, just phenomenal conversation. He'll be at SC Comic-Con this weekend at the Greenville Convention Center along with Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Brothers. Team Extreme making their appearance, as will Stinger. Working on getting Sting. Had to reschedule. We were supposed to talk to him yesterday. Unfortunately, had some scheduling commitment issues. So Zoe and I will be sitting down to talk with him either Wednesday or Thursday, and we will let you know when we get that scheduled and when we plan on getting that one played. Pretty excited about talking to an icon, to the Stinger. It's gonna be a great
I
one.
look forward to seeing you guys Saturday and Sunday at South Carolina Comic-Con. Come up and say hi. Don't touch me. Don't expect
Big hug guy.
Don't expect long conversations.
Big hug guy.
Maybe just jump into my field of vision
And his arms.
and nod, and then move on, and we're good.
Or tell him how big of a fan you are of the great one.
Or you can offer to form some sort of human beer, I think it's called, not the kind that you're thinking of, and you can just like hoist me up and carry me about the con. Please don't
Let's give him a hug.
Please don't do that.
Let's give Lonzo a hug. Big hug guy.
Or don't
big,
do
big,
that
Big fan.
either.
Big fan. He likes to. When I say Lonzo likes to connect with the people, I mean that physically and literally. So, he's right there for you. Hey, let's give you this audio real quick. Earlier this week, Shane Beamer sat down with Josh Pate of the Josh Pate College Football Show, part of the CBS network, and old Pato Potato asked him about his showdown in the bowl game with one Brett Bielema.
Bowl game was entertaining. You guys versus Illinois happened to be my muted TV for a second, okay? So I'm hearing audio from whatever other bowl game's going on, and you do the kind of double take and you glance over and is Beamer taking his headset off? is he? Who's he yelling at? Is that Bielema over there? And I grew up in the attitude era of professional wrestling, so I've seen that. I just don't see it on the football field all the time. I'm not against it. I'm for spice. I'm for flavor.
Well, I got a ton of respect for Coach Bielema, always have, and that was just a situation in the heat of battle that certainly escalated quickly, as they say. And was that old Anchorman? Boy, that escalated quickly. The fight they had.
But you didn't even throw a trident. You didn't even throw a spear at anyone.
No, it wasn't. No one died. Any of that. But it bothered me that, to me, when he made the motion that he did, to me, he was, I don't know what the word is, disrespecting, calling out, whatever, our entire sideline. I knew what I was doing. I wasn't like in a rage trying to go out there and start a brawl on the 50-yard line, but I felt like I had a responsibility to our program to at least respond. And it got you going watching on television, and it got both sidelines really even more amped up and the crowd into it. But again, hate that it happened, but I was defending my team. He felt like he was doing what's best for his team, and we've talked about it since then. Got great respect for Coach Bielema and the Illinois program for sure.
I don't really have an issue with the take. I don't have an issue with Shano. I don't have an issue with the only issue in all of this would have been Bielema hitting that T signal over on the side, which even that I was like, come on, it's a football dude being a football dude. I probably expect a little better out of my head coach.
All right, so I was angry that whole time. It's like, man, I wish someone would come over and just smack Bielema. He looks like a guy that you would want to clothesline, absolutely, without a doubt.
Oh, in that moment, he was absolutely being the heel, without a doubt. I was sitting here looking up some. I think we might do a little faces and heels coming up here on the show in a minute. We'll see. But I absolutely do think in that moment, yeah. Like I was watching that game, obviously, as were most of us, and I absolutely had that moment of like, dude, if somebody went over and rocked this guy right now, I think a lot of us would go, hey, kind of earned that one a little bit. You kind of asked for that one, Bielema. I also don't have a problem with Shano when asked about it, going, look, man, like I like the guy, I respect the guy, I respect what he's doing at the program. And also in that moment, I wanted to clock him in the face because that's kind of the game. Like Rob Brown is obviously team sportsmanship, team respect, team do it the right way. You know, I'm like old John Cena.
Oh yeah, obviously.
I am. But I also understand that in athletic competition, emotions run high, tempers run high. I do not think, like I try to, whenever a situation like this pops up, and obviously Shane Beamer is a buddy of the show. Whenever I can, I try to look at a situation like this and go, okay, would I feel the same way if the situation was reversed?
Pal.
Would I feel the same way if Beamer hit the T-pose on Bielema's squad and it was Bielema knocking the headset off like he was going to go over there and drop a claymore on Beamo's face? And I think the answer is yes. I think if it happened the other way around, I think I would have come in here the next day and I think I would have said, it's kind of disrespectful in the moment. Is it a heat of the moment response? Yes. Again, I am team hustle, loyalty, and respect, always have been. I am team sportsmanship, always have been. But I would also be lying to you to say that I haven't let some words fly or given the occasional demonstrative action of disrespect in the middle of competition, especially when I thought that the other guy was doing the same thing. It's kind of part of the territory of something being as emotionally charged as sports is. I think what it comes down to me is, in a moment where there was a little bit of backeth and fortheth, I think Brett Bielema got a little bit big for his britches. I think he acted like a competitor, got a little carried away. Beamo tried to give him one across the grill, got held back appropriately by his team, and then after it was over, everybody said,
You know what they
That's on
both
me.
you know what they both needed, Rob? They absolutely needed a little bit of guided meditation. And that would have saved them because they would have been nice and calm out there and it wouldn't have nearly escalated into what it almost was. Guided meditation.
it's the best. I don't know why you say it like I'm gonna be offended by it. You're absolutely correct. It would have been a wonderful moment for that. Because I'll tell you,
Thanks to guided meditation, I was able to save you during your coughing fit.
oh, that was bad. That was unexpected and bad. First off, love guided meditation. It's popped into my life over the last 2 weeks, and I'm going to tell you, it's been a tremendous help. It's been a wonderful help. Sometimes you just I just need a reset, little mental reset. There's a bunch of wonderful videos on YouTube that will assist you with this. They're great. But yeah, I heard this clip. I saw it making the rounds over the last couple of days on social media, and a lot of people had a lot of strong takes one way or the other. I really don't. I feel like this is one of those takes that people have just for the sake of having a hot take. Shane Beamer, Brett Bielema, he's of this and he's of that. Like, Bielema, yes. Did he act inappropriately for a head coach? Probably. If a player did that, would I probably let them off the hook because it was a dumb thing to do in the heat of the moment? Yeah. Do I expect better out of a head coach? Yeah. But at the same time, I'm also the dude that reminds you very regularly that these people are people too. And they are subject to the same whims and emotions that all of us are. He's subject to the same feelings and vibes that all of us are. I think Shane defended his team in the moment. I think Shane was heated in the moment, understandably so. And I do not need, I am good with a rivalry. We've kind of enjoyed the last couple of years the rivalry between buddy of the show, Shane Beamer, and Mark Stoops, the head coach at the University of Kentucky, because of the comments that Stoops made. I feel differently about the comments that Stoops made about the dancing in the locker room and the funny sunglasses being climate change and not culture change. I thought it was a silly take then. I think it is a silly take now. And I think that is different. I think it is one thing to disrespect a coach and a team off the field, locker room to locker room, away from the game, versus a dude who just acts up a little bit on the football field. I think it is a lot appropriate for Shane Beamer to take cracks at the culture change, climate change conversation, to go beat Kentucky in their house, and to immediately put on funny sunglasses and do a dance in the locker room. I'm all in. As I have said before, that is the culture change for South Carolina. That is the type of stuff that young players look and they go, that's fun. And I like fun. So I would like to be a part of that, and I would like to do a fun with them. Versus a guy walks over and he hits a T-pose in the middle of the field being, again, hyper competitive in a bowl game that, of all of the bowl games, even though they maybe didn't have the full roster because some of their guys were on their way to the draft and into the transfer portal and whatnot, South Carolina, Illinois, I thought, put on one of the most entertaining bowl games of the entire non-playoff bowl season. I mean, they were getting after it, and I thought it was great. I don't have an issue with it. I do have an issue with the Stoops thing, not with the Bielema thing. I didn't have any takeaway from this. Is LeBron running out of steam ahead of the playoffs? 7 straight games, scoring 25 or fewer points, longest streak since 2014-15. Well, I'm just glad they have not BFF Brian Windhorst on there to talk about it.
He's like blinking. Like, look, I think it's.
Yeah, he really is.
I think it's saying SOS. I'm not sure, or I am weird. I don't know which one it is, but yeah, it was. My dude just blinked 3,000 times in the last minute.
Oh, Wendy. By the way, did you see the response Wendy gave? What a pro. He's like, yeah, I don't talk to LeBron as much as I'd like to. Like, it kind of is what it is. We're not best friends. He knows my mom. She's probably had more interaction with LeBron than I have over the past couple of years. I just cover basketball. I thought it was I got SAS over here threatening to fight LeBron James. I got Wendy going, okay, yeah, we're not friends. So, like, what a pro. I gotta give Wendy his flowers for the response to the LeBron comments. All right, let's see what else we get into. I don't know where we're going next. It's the Rob Brown Show. It's the Fan Upstate.
I know where I'm going. I have to think.
Same here. Give me 30 seconds. NFL's competition committee, that according to a report from Kalen Kaler of ESPN. The Packers forwarded a proposal to the NFL's competition committee to ban the tush push / the brotherly shove, or as it is being called in the competition committee, the push sneak, which is way less catchy, way less fun.
Still accurate, though.
I mean, it is. Another source with direct knowledge, according to the article of the competition committee thinking, said the proposal would be, quote, hotly contested, end quote, amongst coaches, general managers, and owners as they gather for league meetings this week. The league office staff presented the rules proposals during the football operations meeting this past Sunday afternoon, and two sources in the meeting described the back and forth as heated regarding the proposal to, quote, prohibit an offensive player from pushing a teammate who was lined up directly behind the snapper and receives the snap immediately at the snap. Now, I've already told you what's going to happen here. What's going to happen is the Philadelphia Eagles are going to allow this thing to go through, right? They're going to push not to have this rule be approved. But even after it does, you're going to see the Eagles, watch, Jalen Hurts next year will take the snap. He will take a backward step left and then forward, right? Like right now, again, we've talked about this. The reason I love this play so much is because, once again, Rob's a big dork. The physics behind the way the offensive line works in order to accomplish the feat of the brotherly shove is impressive. Left guard, left tackle, they actually dive to the right. The left guard puts his entire body against the center. The two of them form a wedge. The tackle and the right guard then dive into and push those two forward. The quarterback, Jalen Hurts, takes a step to the left to give the offensive line time to connect and establish that phalanx formation. He then tucks in the middle of that wedge, and then the running backs start to push him from behind. What you're going to see Jalen Hurts do next year is, instead of taking that step to the left and then forward, I think what you'll see him do is take a step backwards and then sprint into the ass of the left guard. You will see him step back and then bang, hit the hole as quickly as he possibly can. Then the running backs will move up. That way they can say, no, he's not doing it immediately, right? He's taking a step back, then a step forward. That's a football move. That's not immediate.
That won't work the way this thing does, though.
I don't know that it won't. I don't know that it will, but I don't know that it won't. Because, again, Hurts as it stands, snap, shuffle step left, then straight ahead. I'm just replacing the shuffle step to the left and ahead with a step back and then an angled run to the left, right? Like, I'm not saying it will or won't work. I'm saying they'll probably try that because, again, as much as we talked earlier about implementing technology that is within the rules of the game, like the torpedo bat in Major League Baseball, and how baseball's looking at it and going, it's not against the rules, right? Like, in order to ban this, we would have to, in season, change the rule and do so relatively arbitrarily and do so in a way that takes away from a team that broke no rules to give themselves an advantage to get to where they are now. It would be the same spot here. In order for them to pass the rule, the way that the rule is written now, if I'm Philly, I'm just going, we're going to fight it through the competition committee. We're going to fight it. We're going to try to not allow it to be passed the way it's written. But if it does pass, if there are enough teams that support it, if it does pass, then what we are going to do next is try to create a world where we can work around that. We look at this and we say, all right, you say that we cannot immediately take the snap and push forward. Fine, we won't. We won't immediately take the snap and push forward. Instead, what we will do is we will have Jalen Hurts take a step backwards, then a step forwards. We will have Jalen Hurts take a step back, establish himself, then run off to the left and jump on board. And when the NFL goes, whoa, we just banned that rule, they go, no, you said not a snap and an immediate push. That's not. Now, Sean McVay was on the Yahoo Sports podcast, and Sean McVay was the head coach of the LA Rams, was asked his thoughts on whether or not this play should be prohibited in the NFL.
I don't believe in taking something out because they do it better than anybody else. And I told both John and Howie that when we were talking yesterday. What I don't like is the optics of that play. Looks like a rugby scrum. And there are some health and safety things, which those things exist in short yardage and goal line situations as well. So I'm kind of conflicted because you don't want to be a hater because they do it better than anybody else. So I don't agree with that. But I also wish we didn't let the play in the first place in regards to just the optics of what it looks like. Doesn't look like football to me. I don't believe in taking.
Okay, got it. Thanks, Sean. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that. I don't really get what the concept of the optics is, right? Like I understand that one of, if not the biggest argument from fans about prohibiting the tush push or the push sneak, I hate it so much, is that it's kind of boring. It's kind of boring. It's not an exciting I mean, honestly, to me, it is. Like, I don't know how you don't think it's exciting. I guess a lot of people look and they go, oh, well, it's a guaranteed first down. And as James said yesterday, credit to him, he said, oh, goodness gracious, if only there weren't 9 other yards that you could stop the Eagles from getting so that this never comes into play. But again, I don't love having a play that is completely within the rules of the game and just saying, yeah, we don't like this anymore because they're killing us with it. And to say, oh, it's boring because it's a rugby scrum, I don't know, man. Like, is it not kind of awesome to have my 11 versus your 11 and whoever wins the line of scrimmage wins the game? I think that's fantastic. Like, not every play on the football field, to me, not every play on the football field needs to be some dazzling exhibition of gymnastics and choreography. Sometimes it can just be, we got 7 big-ass dudes, and you got 7 big-ass dudes, and whoever's big-ass dudes outstrong the other big-ass dudes, they win. Is that not something we all say we love about football? Don't we constantly talk about, when we talk about the reason we love football, the fact that it is a physical game, a violent game, a game where strength and size come into play, a game where we want the best of the best out there? Well, the 5 dudes that wear numbers in the 60s and 70s and the 4 dudes or 3 dudes or 5 dudes or however many dudes on the other side that wear numbers between the 50s and the 90s, they're athletes too. And if they're athletes too, they should be able to influence the game as much as any quarterback and wide receiver does. So if I get to a point where I just need 3 feet, 2 feet, 1 foot to give myself a first down or a touchdown or whatever, I should be able to rely on my big ass dudes to get me that 12 or 24 or 36 inches that I need to get a first down or a touchdown or whatever. Oh, I don't like the optics of it. What does that mean? Because it's boring, because it's predictable, because it's just not entertaining. Now, if he wants to talk about the health and the safety aspect of it, okay. I mean, sure. But the only issue I have is this to me is kind of like how I've ranted in the past about how y'all apply certain rules and regulations and thought processes to name, image, and likeness. Well, I don't like that the athletes are doing this. And I go, wait a minute. Coaches do it. Athletic directors do it. Conference commissioners do it. All kinds of people in sports do it. There is literally one group of people in college sports, one group of people that you apply these thoughts to, and it's the players. That's it, which makes it very arbitrary. which is why I've said not all of you, but the majority of y'all who have stepped up and talked about NIL being bad, when I ask you to apply the same rules to coaches, you go, wow, well, coaches, they put in the work to be professionals. What does that mean? Why should they be able to benefit from endorsements but not a player? You apply rules selectively. I kind of feel like we're doing that here. If this is the play that you're going to say, well, I have a health and safety concern. Cool. So you're anti-kickoff then, right? Like we don't need kickoffs. They're part of the game, sure, but we don't need them. We could just say every possession starts at the 25. Here, you want a concept of a kickoff return? How a kickoff return can break one? Cool. Here you go. Every possession starts at the 10. The first play does not count towards a first down. There you go. Now I've given you the opportunity to replace kickoff return. Instead of starting at the 35, I'm going to start it at the 15. And you get one play that is not a down. You can do whatever you want with the ball. You can throw a Hail Mary. You can run it to try to pick up 4, 5, 6. You can do whatever you want. One play doesn't count towards the down and distance. It's just a free play instead of a kickoff return. That makes the game safer, right? Sean McVay, obviously, big dynamic kickoff guy. Wants it to stick around, I assume, because it's a safer play. But also doesn't want the touchback out. Because last year, as we talked about earlier this week or late last week, I don't remember, time's a flat circle and a blur. They looked at the numbers and found out that last year, there were the same number of concussions in the first year. There were like 13% more kickoff returns. But with 13% more kickoff returns, there was the same number of concussions. And the NFL is looking at moving the touchback from the 30 to the 35. Why? Because with those additional 5 yards, it's more likely that teams will return kicks more frequently, which means that the second year, mathematically speaking, the second year of the dynamic kickoff will have more concussions than the last year of the traditional kickoff. You'll have a lot more returns, but in terms of cumulative number of concussions, you'll have more. The effort is to reduce concussions, right? Like that's the whole premise here. We want to reduce concussions. But you're about to make a decision that is going to empirically, conclusively increase the number of concussions. There will be fewer concussions per return, but the number of concussions sustained will go up from the last year of the old style of kickoff. So we're against that, right, Sean McVay? This is kind of my point. Like Sean McVay doesn't want to be the guy that jumps up and goes, they're kicking our ass, so we'd like them to not be able to do that anymore, please and thank you, because nobody wants to be that guy except the Green Bay Packers. Nobody wants to be the guy that goes, we can't stop this, so they shouldn't be allowed to do that. Na boo-boo. Or we'll take our ball and go home. Nobody wants to be that. So instead, what do you have to do? It's politics, baby. You got to come up with a BS reason that you want a thing done so that you don't have to say the actual reason that you want the thing done. That's all this is. It's health and safety. All right, well then you should be pro kickoff removal from the game. Because if it truly is about health and safety, the kickoff produces more concussions than any other play. Percentage-wise, it produces more concussions than any other play. So if it's a health and safety thing, as Sean McVay claims it is in this clip, then you should want to do away with kickoffs. Come up with a new system. Everybody gets the ball on the 25, that's it. Every drive starts at the 25. Oh, we just don't have kickoff returns anymore. Or every drive starts at the 15, but your first play is a free play. Wherever the ball ends up after that play, it's 1st and 10 from that spot. If you throw a 27-yard pass that is complete and you get it out to the 37, 39-yard line, that's where you start 1st and 10. If you try to run the ball and you lose 4 yards, that's where you start 1st and 10. I just got rid of the largest concussion play in the NFL. Health and safety, is that really it? Well, it's optics. Okay, what are the odds? Well, it's a rugby scrum. Okay. Football comes from rugby. We always talk about how strength and power and violence are a major part of the game. I am giving you the most strength, power, and violence play in football and saying it's just dudes being dudes. And who's ever dudes are more dudes than the other dudes, they win. How's that not great? How's that not something we celebrate, we like, we love? I don't know. I'm just saying, it feels like we're applying selective logic here, so nobody has to be the guy that goes, they're real good at it, we can't figure it out, so they shouldn't be allowed to do that, because nobody wants to be that guy. You know who is that guy? Lonzo, when he does a Sports Flash.
And all the time, not just when I do the Sports Flash. It's 5 losses in a row to start the season for the Atlanta Braves after a 6-1 loss at the Dodgers last night. Grant Holmes took the loss, allowing 4 hits and 4 earned runs with 3 Ks in 4 innings. Atlanta collected 4 hits, including a Michael Harris II homer, but went 0-6 with runners in scoring position. The Dodgers reached base on 9 hits and 6 walks. Charlotte Hornets knocked off the Utah Jazz 110-106 last night, days after it was announced that guard LaMelo Ball is being shut down for the season. Miles Bridges had 26 and Mark Williams added 18, and the Hornets out-rebounded the Jazz 47-41 in the winning effort. Make sure you tune in this afternoon, 3 to 7 p.m. for Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and Diesel Ride Shotgun on your drive home. Get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate, a whole lot of fun. And I don't know if you knew this, it's all Wire to Wire. Just in, head coach Raheem Morris agrees that the tush push should be banned.
Oh, so somebody did just say it.
I don't like this play for what I have to do to stop it.
Okay. Well, stop giving Bijan Robinson the ball because I don't like what I have to do to stop it.
Don't want to be that guy, but now it's cold in here.
Don't say a word about
I'm
it.
not going to.
Don't say
I'm
a
not,
word about it.
because it's going to get hotter outside, and it's a little bit cooler today than it was yesterday, and it should hopefully even out. I don't need to feel my toes. I believe they're still there, and I can look.
All right, give me that Raheem Morris quote again, Lonzo, if you don't mind.
Now I got to find it. Oh, here it is. I don't like the play for what I have to do to stop it. Now, I don't know if that's real or not. I mean, it could be.
I both hope it is and isn't at the exact same time.
Dove climbing, whatever it is. That guy always, I mean, that he's the one who tweeted it out, and he's usually fairly accurate. So,
I don't know if it's real or not. Let's, for the sake of argument, say that it is. What can't I apply that to? If Raheem Morris really said this, and so I'm going to ask you, I try not to ask you for research during the show. I would appreciate if you would.
Right now,
yeah, I figured, but I wanted to say it anyway. See if you can find out if that's a real quote or not. Because if Raheem Morris genuinely said that he wants the play banned because he hates what he has to do to stop it.
All right. It's earlier in the year, February 26th, Raheem Morris supports banning the tush push. This was put out by the Atlanta Falcons. So Sports Illustrated also has it. So he is not a supporter of that. So I believe the quote. Here's another one of his quotes. It should have been illegal 3 years ago.
Okay. I vote.
It's gone. I mean, it's gone. And more guys are being vocal about it.
Yeah, and it does feel like one of those things. And I ended in the last segment by saying nobody wants to be the guy that says, I don't like it, so make it go away. But I guess I'm just wrong. I guess there are some guys. And it does feel like one of those things where a guy or a couple of guys come out and they go, hey, hot take, and this is unpopular, but I want X. And then there's a bunch of people, it turns out, that wanted the thing but didn't have the stones to out loud say that. But now that other guys are saying it, now they go, actually, me too. I actually wanted that the whole time, but I didn't want to be the one who said it. And now that somebody else has said it, I will say it. I'm going to go ahead.
Well, I mean, apparently he had said it earlier in the year, and we just didn't catch it. So, because it's from Atlanta, who pays attention to the Falcons? I mean, I don't like the tush push. You know why I don't like it? Because people can't stop it. But I don't think it's within the rules, at least for now. So, I mean, that's on the opposing defense to stop it. If you can't, it doesn't mean I like it, because it's they're really good at it and other teams aren't, but still.
As obviously NFL owners and players around the league listen to this show on a regular basis, I would like to propose a rule here, too. I vote that the Falcons can't give Bijan Robinson the ball anymore because I don't like what I have to do to stop it. Is that that's how it works now, right? Like if you don't like what you have to do to stop a play, we just propose that we don't do it anymore.
Well, I mean, the NFL owners are kind of like a democracy, right? Whatever they say, and if the majority of them go, no, we don't want it, then they're going to get rid of it, right?
Yes. That doesn't mean that I have to like it. That doesn't mean that I have to think that they're right. The whole concept of, and by the way, I suspect that to some degree, the owner's first decision-making criteria was always will be financial impact. And if they really believe that like fans are turned off to the game because of the tush push, then yes, they will ban it.
Well, listen, it's one of those things when you change a rule to allow something, you think it through, and they probably thought it through. None of them in their wildest dreams would have thought that someone could come up with something like this. They're the ones that passed a rule that allows it to happen.
Well, again, I guess that's the take I would have there is there's no rule that was passed to allow it. It's just a football play. And
there
it
was,
happens to be.
There was. You didn't used to be able to shove another offensive player.
That is, I believe, a college rule. Specifically, I could be wrong about that.
No, I'm pretty sure it was in the NFL for a while, and it's not a recent rule change, but I think in the last 15 or 20 years. I'll look it up.
To me, a part of this is because of the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles went and got themselves a quarterback that can squat a Hyundai, not 100 pounds, a literal Hyundai, like a car. Jalen Hurts can squat 600 plus pounds. You kind of have to be able to do that as a quarterback for this play to work. I will tell you this. I would not be surprised if next year, if this play is not banned, I could see a team going and getting themselves a Derrick Henry and teaching him how to take a snap and running a tush push with a running back who can squat a gazillion pounds. I would put Derrick Henry under center. I would copy the Eagles exactly. I would go get the captain of the Team USA rugby squad to come teach the boys how to scrum. I would put a running back under center, and I would just run the tush push until somebody, like the Jags did the Jags figured out how to stop it last year. It can be stopped. The Jags, I went back. We've talked about this at one point. The Jags last year, do you know what they did? They stomped the Eagles, including on two-point conversion attempts last year, stopped the tush push.
By the way, the rule changed in 2005. Before 2005, in the NFL, you were not allowed to do that.
Okay, 20 years ago, the rule changed.
Yeah, so
and 17 years later.
Which is fairly recent. So it took this many years for someone to figure out how to basically, I don't want to say exploit the rule, but more so able to use it to its fullest, right?
I mean, yeah. I think it had. Honestly, I personally think it has more to do with Jalen Hurts than it does the running backs, really, right? I think now I could see, and a texter wrote in a little while said, "quote I think they'll simply add in that you can't aid the runner by saying there can't be any pushing or pulling of the runner," which is interesting because again, like. How many times have we seen a running back hit a scrum and a lineman who is like spinning around grabs the jersey of the running back and then just starts, duck walking him backwards, pulling him backwards? Are we getting rid of that? We're going. You can't aid the runner at all. Like I don't know how they're going to handle this. And frankly, you know what? I do care. I was going to say I don't care. I do care. I do care a little bit. Will texts the show and said, does it seem like this is micromanaging of the game? Shouldn't they just play football like they have for decades? Yeah, Will, like that's the nice thing. But the NFL changes rules all the time. And they change the rule basically going, how can we make the game more entertaining? Is that good or bad for the game? It depends on what perspective you look at it from. If you look at it from the perspective of me who just wants football to be football, not really. But if you look at it from them where they go, how do we get more casual people involved? All right, how do we make the offense score more points because American viewers care about points, not the game, right? This has been a mentality that I have spoken out against for a very long time and taken a lot of heat for it. I don't care. Americans watch the game only for the end result, not for the game itself. This is wildly frustrating to me. It's the fact that there is a direct correlation between baseball television ratings and number of home runs hit. When the home runs start to go up, viewership goes up. It is the direct correlation between touchdowns scored and viewership. You can almost draw a 1-to-1 ratio of number of touchdowns scored with number of eyeballs watching it happen.
So what you're saying is other countries in the world watch it for losing?
No.
Okay.
No. I didn't say they watch it for winning. I say they watch it for results. I say they watch it for touchdowns and home runs and aces, not for the game being played. They watch it for slam dunks, not the pick and roll. They watch it for touchdowns, not elite blocking across the offensive line. There is the offensive linemen on any given snap. I have made the argument for years. Offensive linemen are the most important 5 people on the football field. We have proof of that now, right? We have proof of that. Offensive linemen are the most important people on the football field. And yet, I'd be willing to bet if I went to downtown South Carolina right now and I exclusively pulled people who were wearing NFL gear and I said, hey, can you name me your 5 offensive linemen? About 2% of them could actually do it.
All right, so you're having a problem with the majority.
That's usually true.
Okay, because that's what you're doing.
That's usually true.
You're having a problem with the majority of people. And, I don't think I have to know every player on my team and every name of every player.
I'm not saying you do. Here's what I'm saying. Let me try to clarify this.
I know what a guard does.
Job.
I know what a tackle does. I know what a center does. I don't need to know their name.
I understand. Let me try to clarify this. Here's what I'm saying. In an NFL game, something like 5% of all plays result in a touchdown, right? Like 5% of all plays result in a touchdown. If it's that high, it's probably lower than that. But you're talking a football game, any given football game, you're getting, 100 offensive snaps between the two teams? And maybe you get 5 touchdowns out of a game. So let's say 5 to 7% of snaps result in a touchdown. What I'm saying is the 95 to 93 snaps that do not result in a touchdown are just as important as, and to me, as entertaining as the plays that result in a touchdown. But we have been trained to only care about the score. I don't mean this like the final score. I mean a score. To me, if there's 12 pitches in an at-bat and it's batter up there looking, it's pitcher throwing art, throwing poetry at the dish, it's manipulating the batter, trying to fool his eyes, throwing heater, then change up, then heater, breaking ball that he thinks is going to be a fastball, etc.
Wait, you just snuck baseball into a football discussion. What are you doing?
It's a sports discussion because this is not the concept of Americans watch for the scores, not for the art of the game, right? This is why, and I've made this argument too. I'm going to throw one more sport in here. This is why I love soccer and most of y'all don't. Because soccer is a game where you have to watch for the enjoyment of 22 dudes playing the sport, not scoring,
running
playing
constantly
the sport.
without doing a lot of scoring.
Right, playing the sport,
running, just running constantly.
Playing the sport.
I can watch kids on the playground running constantly.
Playing the sport. This is why you guys can be perfectly happy to tune in and just watch a recap of a football game where it's just the touchdowns and go, I know ball. No, you don't. No, you don't. You know touchdowns, but you don't know ball. This is why so many people don't know ball, because you only care about the touchdowns. And I'm telling you that the touchdown they scored there, maybe they ran X play to get that ball in the end zone, but that play was set up by the 4, 5, 6 plays before that, where they kept running this blocking scheme, this play, and then a couple of plays down the line, they run the same blocking scheme, and the defense bites, but this time they go back the other way. They run a different play out of the same scheme, and it sets you up for the touchdown. There's art in that. There's poetry in the game being played, not just the scores. There's poetry in a 14-pitch at bat where pitcher and batter are getting after it. And then eventually batter figures it out and goes yard. Or pitcher figures out the batter and blows one by him at 103 and he swings and he whiffs. And what did we show on TV? Just that one pitch. You don't show the 12 or 13 pitches where the pitcher was setting him up, and bang, pitch he hasn't seen yet and he whiffs at it. That's the art. That's players being players. And that's what I think we're lost at here. This is why when I talk about the tush push, I hate the concept of banning it. Because the Eagles have figured something out that works. They figured out how to do something special that works. There's an art and a science to get it. Because if one guy, if the center gets knocked off of his trajectory, if the guard doesn't get his helmet onto the butt cheek of the center, if the tackle doesn't get his shoulder locked up with the hip of the guard, if Jalen Hurts doesn't time the step and the push forward correct, if the running backs don't get to their spot, any one of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys involved in that play, any one of them doesn't do their job, that play doesn't work. On the flip side, I mentioned it a few minutes ago, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they stopped the tush push. The Eagles played the Jags. The Jags stuffed that, I think, 4 times in that game. You know why? Because they actually broke down how that play works, and they figured it out. And they figured out that if we can knock the tackle off the guard's hip, if we can knock that tackle off, that wedge breaks down, and now we got room to get in there behind Jalen Hurts and wrap him up and bring him down. So they understood that this is not 5 offensive linemen getting really low to the ground and just blowing off the football. This is a built, choreographed play. And the Jags built a reverse wedge. They said, all right, Philly's building a phalanx of which the head, the spear, is the left guard's helmet coming onto the center's backside, and that's the push. And that's where Hurts goes. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to run a reverse wedge. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to have the linebackers get up on the defensive tackle. We are going to have the linebackers push the defensive tackle into the point of the spear. We're going to build a shield. What's the opposite of a spear? A shield. We're going to build a shield with defensive linemen. We're going to have the linebackers throw the D linemen into the point of attack for the Eagles, and then that frees the linebackers up to go over the top and go get Jalen Hurts. And it worked like a dream. Just do that. Figure it out. But Raheem Morris saying, well, I think it should be banned because I don't like what I have to do to stop it on defense. Seems to me like you can't. And that's like the whole thing's silly, man. Like it bothers me when we take the art of playing the game out of the game because we want to be more excited. That it's called playing a game, not nobody's ever said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tune in this weekend to watch some touchdowns. No, we say I'm going to tune in to watch the game. I'm going to watch the Saints play. I'm going to watch the Panthers play. Nobody's ever said I'm going to watch the Falcons play, but you get it. I'm going to watch the blanks play. I want to watch them play. I don't want to watch them just score. I want to watch the game. And I think that is, again, I think that's a uniquely American mindset that I think causes a lot of people to miss out on the beauty of the games that we all love so much. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just, as this texter said, Rob, you pretentious D-bag. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm just a pretentious D-bag. I did wear this shirt today. Who knows? Maybe that's it. All right, let's take a break. I got some more I want to get to. I might complain about the Braves more. I don't know. We'll see. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. I don't hate explosive plays, Kane. Explosive plays are set up by the struggle and the strategy. I like the struggle and the strategy, too. It's all part of playing the game.
Rob Brown, it's all about the journey guy.
Pretentious douchebag.
Wow, some people are mean. All right, admittedly, I've heard pretentious used a bunch, but I've never actually looked up the definition. My understanding of what it meant was right, but still. Why is it stretched out like a fat guy just wore it, though?
Well, it is an extra large.
You see what I mean? How do they spread it out? They spread it out like.
Because it's a big name. It's the whole name.
Okay,
That's why.
All
no
right.
other reason. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, and you. Let's talk some NFL draft here as we wrap up the show over the next 38 minutes or so. The Carolina Panthers drafting number 8. I will be giving you in the next couple of days, probably early next week, my first mock draft. I will do a mock draft. Go ahead and tell you now, I don't do trades in the mock draft because I don't want to, and general managers are insane. So no mock draft trades, but I will do a mock draft. I got a couple that I'm putting together right now, a couple that I'm already looking at. One team I do think is going to trade down, though. I do think the Tennessee Titans are going to trade out. I do think they will trade down from the number 1 spot. I know that there's been a lot of talk that they will not. It is, of course, our favorite season, smokescreen season. It is a point in time where every NFL team is lying about what they want to do, trying to manipulate the market a little bit. It's my favorite thing about trade season. I do think the Tennessee Titans will trade down. And here's what's real interesting about this trade. You know what's being mentioned? A 3-team trade right now. A 3-team trade has been brought up. Not with any specific team taking the heavy swing to go get the number 1, but more another team being utilized as a resource to be used in order to give the Browns something that they need in order to give the Titans what they need to get out of the way and draft number 1. And that is the Atlanta Falcons. Effectively, if a team's going to 1, it's because they want Shador or they want Cam Ward. Now, just about all of your teams have their starting quarterbacks now. It's basically the Steelers and question mark the Tennessee Titans. I've said a couple of times, I don't see a guy that I say that's a franchise quarterback.
And maybe Minnesota.
Maybe Minnesota, but again, I can't imagine that they spent what they spent on J.J. McCarthy and aren't going to give him a look, right? Like, they're going to give him a season. I don't see any way they don't give him a season. So right now, I've seen like a few mock drafts that have said Cleveland makes the move. And there's a little bit of belief that part of the reason that Jimmy Haslam, one half of the ownership group of the Cleveland Browns, down in West Palm at the owners' meeting, said, hey, look, we took a, quote, big swing and a miss on Deshaun Watson. A part of the belief in why that conversation happened with Jimmy Haslam is Jimmy Haslam basically prepping everybody for that team to go draft a quarterback, for that team to make a jump up and go get a guy at number 1. And that's where the Kirk Cousins trade would come in. You send Kirko to Tennessee along with a swell of draft picks from Cleveland. The Falcons get a handful of later round picks back between these two teams. The Browns jump up and get the number 1 pick from the Titans. And the Titans end up getting like 3 or 4 picks from the Browns. The Browns basically throw like 6 picks away to go get either Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But the more I read, the more I'm thinking Tennessee is going to trade back out of this spot. I've already told you, if you're a Panthers fan, that's a good thing for you. You would like to see all 3 quarterbacks come off the board before you go on the clock at number 8. I would love to see a team trade up into the top 8, provided they don't trade in front of you. But I don't think anybody 1 through 8, whether it is Tennessee, whether it is Cleveland, whether it is New England, Jacksonville. Now, again, Tennessee may trade back if this trade goes through. Tennessee may trade back just to number 2. I think it would be ridiculous for the Browns to jump up 1 spot and pay a treasure trove to do it. It would be the most Browns move. Sincere question to y'all. The Hub City Spartanburger text line 844-326-3663. And I'll throw this one at the great one as well. Is there a gulf of difference between Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward of Miami that it would be worth Cleveland moving from 2 to 1 to get the one of those 2 that they want? If they stay at 2, they're guaranteed to get 1, and it's whichever one Tennessee doesn't want. Is there a gulf of difference from Shedeur Sanders to Cam Ward that if you're Cleveland, you're giving up like 4 or 5 mid-round picks over the next 2 years to go get that one instead of the other one?
This is an easy answer. It's Cleveland. Whatever the dumbest thing is, that's what they're going to do.
You might not be wrong. In the dumbest possible way, you might not be wrong. Not you being dumb, Cleveland being dumb. Also, my internet shut off, so I don't know. I'll be back on the stream soon, I hope. We'll see.
Enjoy the full screen, baby. It won't last for long.
There we go. I think I'm back. I think I'm back.
I don't see... I see a lot of good out of both these guys. I see a lot of bad out of both these guys. This is part of the reason I don't think there's a franchise quarterback in this draft. That's not to say that none of the 3, Shedeur, Cam, or Jackson Dart, won't be. I'm saying I'm not guaranteeing that there is. There's none that I'm like, yeah, I'd move up if I'm Cleveland from 2 to 1. I think at this spot, I would probably sit there and go, hey, you take Shedeur, I'm taking Cam. You take Cam, I'm taking Shedeur. I'll take either one of them. We'll see what happens. I don't think they have a choice. Either way, I think if you're Carolina, this is good. Then there's a question mark about number 3. Now, why am I bringing this up here? I'm bringing this up here because a little while ago, this morning, Bill Barnwell, who does frequent mock drafts for ESPN, he wrote up his mock draft. And in his mock draft, great one, in his mock draft, he has the Carolina Panthers making a trade with the New York Giants to jump up to number 3. Let me give you his rationale, see what you think about it. Here's what he writes. If Ward and Sanders come off the board with the top 2 picks, the Giants would find themselves in a difficult predicament. The clear top player available would be Abdul Carter, but they have Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau in starting roles. They could take Travis Hunter, but after drafting Malik Neighbors last year and signing Paulson Adebo this offseason, they aren't crying out for help at either of Hunter's positions. He'd still be a valuable addition, but New York should be focused on a quarterback of the future and offensive line help. The Panthers, on the other hand, have had one of the league's least imposing depth charts on the edge. New signing Pat Jones II had 7 sacks last season, but he had just 5 in the 3 previous seasons. Jadeveon Clowney is 32 years old, and in the final year of his contract, Carter would be a building block for Carolina next to Derek Brown, who missed most of the 24 campaign with a meniscus injury. Giants general manager Joe Shane is trying to add players who can help immediately in light of dismissal of dismal back-to-back years, but adding a second-round pick in this draft via the Rams and a second-rounder in 26 from a team that has struggled the past few years is a worthwhile risk. The Panthers' second-rounder could be valuable if the Giants want to flip it later in this draft for a player who can help them this season. So he says the Cats give up a 2026 5th-round pick and this year's 57th overall second-round pick in order to move up 5 spots from round 1 pick 8 to round 1 pick 3 in order to go get Abdul Carter out of Penn State.
Is he that good? I mean,
Yes.
is he that kind of movement good?
He is the most highly touted, almost consensus, best non-quarterback in this draft. I will tell you that on my board, he is the best player in this draft that's not a quarterback. Honestly, I think he's the best player in this draft, period. This would be the Cats. And again, this is theoretical because it kind of relies on Cam and Shador coming off the board 1 and 2. If either one of those guys drops to 3, New York's drafting them there. The Carolina Panthers cannot move up to that spot. That's not to say that they wouldn't try to make a move elsewhere, but I don't think that New England's getting out of the way because I think New England is probably going to go offensive line in that spot. I know if Jacksonville's on the clock at 5 and Abdul Carter's on the board right there, they're taking Abdul Carter. They're taking Abdul Carter. So the spot there.
I don't know. Vrabel, that's his kind of guy, though.
Oh, it absolutely is his kind of guy. But I also think you've got Drake May. You played him behind the 30th ranked offensive line in football last year. And even with the 30th ranked offensive line last year, Drake May still had some moments where he looked like an absolute guy. Drake May won me over last year. Drake May was a guy I had nothing for coming into the season. And he won me over last year, but you have got to put a better offensive line in front of him, and this would be their opportunity to make that happen. I don't think New England's moving. So the Carolina Panthers have one opportunity to go get Abdul Carter, and it would be a trade up to the Giants because Carter, I do not think, is making it past number 5 on this board with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't think. If he does drop past 5, he might make it to 8 because I think the Raiders are going running back. I think it's silly of them to go running back, frankly. But I think the Raiders go running back. And then at 7, the New York Jets. I mean, there's a lot of spots that the Jets could go. But they need a defender too. And if Abdul Carter's at 7, I'll put it this way. Abdul Carter is, to me, the consensus. There's a lot of good defensive players on the board. Mason Graham, Jalen Walker, Gia Campbell, Mike Green. There's a lot of good defensive players on the board. The Panthers could absolutely stay put at 8, and they will end up with a good defender. But Abdul Carter is the defender in this draft. He is the one guy that just about everybody's like, that's Max Crosby. That's that guy. That's how good this cat can be. If you want him, you got to go to 3 because you're not going to 4, 5, 6, or 7, and he is definitely not making it past 4, 5, 6, or 7 to you at 8. Is this a move you would be happy to make? Texter says no. Panthers need to stand where they are. We are not in a position to trade assets again. I don't disagree. Texture said, I've been saying Tennessee needs to trade back from number 1. I would if I was Tennessee. And I would because even if there's not a litany of quarterbacks in this draft, there are only 3 that have a first-round grade. Sanders, Ward, Dart. Those are the only ones. And if a team wants one, they got to be probably inside that top 10. So why not give them the choice and pick up a treasure trove? That being said, if I'm Tennessee, I'm not moving back for anything less than a treasure trove unless it's to Cleveland at number 2, New York at number 3. And if I'm moving back in those spots, you're basically bidding those 2 teams against each other, Cleveland and New York. Whoever gives me more, you get to go up and get the guy you want at 1. We'll drop to your spot. So, I don't know. We'll see. Cleveland makes it interesting because if Tennessee drops to Cleveland, they could drop to number 2. Then they pick whoever Cleveland doesn't take. They still get their guy ahead of New York, and they can demand a dragon's hoard of wealth from the Browns to do it. I don't know, man. These first 3 picks are going to be real interesting. All right, back after this, the Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
Well, I'm looking for other sources to see if this pops up, but according to Diana Rossini, the NFL owners have passed a rule change that will allow both teams to possess the ball in overtime during the regular season.
Sweet.
The overtime period will remain 10 minutes. Ian Rappaport is also saying that.
Well, I feel like that's breaking news when we return.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Just an expanded replay assist has also been approved.
Good.
Oh, no.
Good.
That according to Tom Pelissero. Oh, no. Now the game's going to be at least 2 or 3 minutes longer. Can't take that. That's stuff to do. I'm still going for it. Good to know, fella.
Spider-Man 4 has been, my bad, officially titled Brand New Day.
Yes, it has been.
How did you know that, Lonzo?
Stop looking at your phone. Held on to that one for 3 hours and 38 minutes.
Somebody said in the Reddit commentary, it's a brand new day. Yes, it is. And now it's just people quoting New Day at a Spider-Man movie. Clap for your world-famous friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and feel the power. Big meaty Spider-Man slapping me.
See, you said a brand new day. The Sting song came into.
Brand new day. Brand new day.
It's a different song, but still. Stop looking at your phone. Stop it.
I'm not on Twitter anymore. Break! Damn it. Duh, son of a gun.
Yes. Yes. Going to be a good week for me. I can feel it.
1-0. Breaking news! Breaking news brought to you by our friends at the BetMGM Network. BetMGM and BetQL. Be smarter. Beat the books. And don't forget to listen to Bet for the Cycle every Saturday on the brand new and improved BetMGM. Something can't be both brand new and improved. It can be brand new or it can be improved.
I agree.
But it can't be both.
You know, I don't know who wrote the copy, so I'm not saying anything.
BetMGM Network every Saturday, noon to 4 with myself and former MLB player Cody Decker. It is BetMGM Network and our friends at BetQL. According to Diana Rossini, Adam Schefter, and Rappaport. And by the way, have you seen Rappo on when he guest hosts the McAfee show? Dude's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, he's great.
Dude is just, that was harder than I thought it was going to be. Absolutely hilarious.
No, you don't own that.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I felt bad about it. Breaking news, according to all three of those sources, the NFL has passed its first rules change, courtesy of the competition committee. No, it is not a banning of the tush push brotherly love push sneak. No. Instead, they have changed the one rule that was my one that I really wanted changed. That is to say, from this point forward until time immemorial or the end of the season when the owners decide they don't like it anymore.
Yeah, it could change.
Both teams will be awarded one possession in the overtime period. The NFL's overtime postseason rules are now the NFL's overtime regular season rules. And that is good. That is a good thing. That is good.
How many overtime games were there last year?
I have no idea. I was not going to lie. I did not go back and research nor look.
Enough to cause a rule change, apparently. Okay.
This one just feels like an obvious change to me.
By the way, I don't have a problem with it, but it's almost like, hey, look, we did something. I mean, that's what it. Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't feel that way. To me, it feels like a situation where the NFL looked and they said, man, if a team gets a kickoff and they just score a touchdown, the fact that the game is over is, we don't like to use this word, but sometimes the word's a word for a reason. Unfair. It's unfair that one team gets an opportunity with the football and the other team is not. We'll just stop them from scoring.
All right, so
Rob.
I guess I was wrong about this. According to the internet, so it's got to be true. In the 2024 NFL season, there were 16 overtime games.
How many of them ended on the first possession in the regular season?
That's we don't have enough time in the show for me to do that kind of research.
I am also lazy sometimes. For the record, I haven't looked any of it up. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. At the end of the day, if one team gets the ball on offense and they score a touchdown, the other team should have an opportunity to match. Frankly, this is why I've said 100 times and will 100 more. The one place on the football field where college football is definitively and empirically better is the overtime rules. College football overtime rules rule. The NFL overtime rules stink, and I do not like them. I am okay with playing the game back and forth. But let's just put them on the 25, line them up, and let's play football.
All right. According to Adam Schefter, Detroit's proposal to eliminate an automatic first down as a penalty imposed for defensive holding and illegal contact did not pass.
Okay.
Despite the Lions' pleas.
Okay. I mean, that one is one that I will say I would want to run the numbers on that. I would want to see how often that comes into play. How many plays in any given year that would change. The overtime one was an automatic no-brainer to me. The overtime one is one that we should have changed that years ago. It should have been this way for years. It should absolutely be both teams get a crack at it, right? Just both teams get a crack at it. If Team A scores, to the point that I would go so far as to say it should go back and forth. If teams trade touchdowns, they keep playing back and forth until somebody doesn't. Until somebody gets outplayed. If Team A scores a tutty.
Anti-safety.
Oh, I mean, the safety's fine. Like a safety can end the game. But if one team outdoes the other team, that's when they should win a game, right? So if Team A gets the kick and they score a touchdown, and then Team B gets the kick and they score a touchdown, and then Team A gets the kick and they score another touchdown, Team B should get the opportunity to score another touchdown. It should go back and forth. If Team A kicks a field goal and then Team B scores a touchdown, it's over. The result of overtime should be when somebody outdoes the other somebody. That's it, right? If Team A scores a touchdown, Team B scores a touchdown, Team A scores a touchdown, Team B scores a touchdown, Team A punts, any score from Team B is an outperformance, right? Like any time. I would even go so far as to say, as I've said, to me, it should be when one team outperforms the other team on an equal number of possessions. If Team A scores a touchdown and Team B scores a touchdown, if Team B goes for 2 and they get it, they scored 8 on one possession. Other team scored 7. Ball game, right? Like I don't feel like it needs to be all that complicated. The overtime period should be each team having an equal number of possessions to outdo each other. The first team to outperform the other team wins the football game. So if Team A gets the kick and they go down the field and they throw an interception, all Team B's got to do is kick a field goal. They outperformed. If Team A kicks a field goal, Team B scores a touchdown, they outperform. If Team A scores a touchdown, Team B scores a touchdown, and they kick the extra point as well, we play on. If Team B scores a touchdown and they 2-point convert, they outscore the offense. They get the dub. Like this is one of those spots that I don't understand why. Scratch that. You and I both, we all collectively, we understand. At the end of the day, what the NFL does not want is situations where we have a Texas A&M LSU 7-8 overtime game where the game itself is 3 hours and 15 minutes and then overtime is another hour and a half because these two teams just keep matching touchdown for field goal for punt. They don't want that. They don't want to end up in a situation where a game goes on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever because the two teams keep matching up, because they want to be able to get to the next game, which, again, I understand. I get it. But, man, I'm big on the game itself treating both opponents fairly. Treating both opponents fairly, giving both opponents the opportunity to do what the other did or better. So good on the NFL for passing this rule. The Lions rule, as Lonzo mentioned just a moment ago, which would have removed the automatic first down for defensive illegal contact or pass interference, has not been approved. That one is interesting too. Basically, what the Lions were saying is if it's 3rd and 22 and you throw a long pass and there's pass interference, it should reset to be 3rd and 7. You should not just be given a first down for that. I haven't really sat down, even though they made the announcement they would be forwarding this proposal to the league a few weeks ago. I haven't really sat down and considered the impact that this would have on the game. I don't really know what the impact this would have on the game would be. There's part of me that kind of likes it. Like I think 15 yards is 15 yards. If you're in a spot where 15 doesn't get you the first down, I understand not giving you the first down. On the flip side, that kind of opens the door for a wide receiver who blows the doors off of a safety or a defensive back, a cornerback, for that cornerback to just outright tackle the dude. Just tackle him, because it's still not a first down. It kind of takes that and puts that into play. And I lead towards that not being a thing. So I think I'm okay with it. I think I'm okay with it, but I really kind of got to think about that a little bit.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
It's time to find out what the X is going on. I'm going to tell Rob, and Rob's going to tell you what it is because he knows things. Or
like ball.
Yeah, stuff. He knows stuff. All right, the first day it's actually today is April Fool's Day.
It is April Fool's Day. I'm not anti-April Fools. In fact, I'm very pro-April Fools. Do a good one, though. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing worse than lame-ass April Fool's pranks.
Unless you're like 9. I mean, then it's okay.
Yeah, but that's
you're
different.
Just learning.
That's different. If you are a grown-up and you are going to participate in April Fools, do a good one. Don't do awful April Fool's pranks. And when I say awful, I'm not talking about, morally. I'm just talking about, you're not funny. The amount of people in this world who think they're funny when they're not funny is too damn high.
Yeah, I won April Fool's Day. I don't ever have to do it again. We took over Word and said that we played polka music as our return and said everyone had retired. I got in arguments with people on the phone on the air who told me that it was an April Fool's joke, and I explained to them, why can't you give me a chance? You gave other people a chance. People move on, people retire, and then someone takes their place. And the program director got so many complaints, we had to stop at one point, but we had a lot of fun with it for a while.
I thought about it last night. I thought about, what can we do today? But, it's just it's a lot of effort.
And you get all those warning emails and stuff.
And that's the other thing is because of, and I don't say this in a negative way, but, it's not even that things that, let's be real clear. It's not that things have been corporatized, okay? Because, they always have been. It's not that things have been corporatized. It's that America's full of Karens who complain and don't allow people to have fun. And if you make a mistake, because a lot of FCC guidelines for us, they're very vague, right? Like the cussing on air rules of the SEC, they're actually pretty vague. Right?
FCC, not SEC. They're probably okay with it.
Brett Bielema, Shane Beamer. The cussing rules on the air, for instance, for us are relatively vague. I could theoretically take a lot more chances. It's just a matter of, do people make enough complaints that the FCC then steps in and goes, we've decided it's not appropriate. There's enough Karens out there that if I did an April Fool's joke, would call in because they got fooled and they felt dumb, therefore it's a bad April Fool's prank, that it's kind of taking the fun out of it for those of us in radio. Honestly, we get every year around March 25th, we get an email this damn long about don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And it's that's all the jokes. You've listed all of the fools.
Our life is extremely hard. By the way, did you notice there are new additions to the bobbleheads over there? There's a doggy.
Yeah, it's a Wofford Terrier.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
We got the Wofford Terrier, and that is, I know that one too. Limestone.
There's also a wolf.
It's Limestone. We got Limestone, we got the Wofford, and Colin Diesel brought back a Hub City Spartanburgers baseball cap, but it's a baseball cap, train conductor cap style. And it's honestly one of the most unique baseball caps I've ever seen. I'm very intrigued by it.
All right. The next thing that's Xing is Let's see. Superman.
Wait, I forgot about it. I forgot about this. The Spartanburgers have another piece of merch that I'm driving to Spartanburg to get, Lonzo. It is a commemorative Spartanburgers debut season glass pickle jar that comes with a pickle-scented T-shirt, Spartanburgers T-shirt inside of it. I want it so badly.
Yeah, this room
So badly.
smells like pickles every day when the air doesn't work right. So
I'm a big pickle guy. Big pickle guy. Spartanburgers, well done on the merch. Well done on the merch. All right, what was it? What
It was Superman.
I got nothing. Why is it trending?
New trailer drops today.
Oh.
CinemaCon.
Drops or has dropped?
It hasn't dropped yet. At least I haven't seen it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, guess what? I know what I'm watching this afternoon. Also, caught up on Daredevil. Love it.
Last 2 episodes are really good. We'll have to talk about that soon.
Hey, that's it for us. Thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed the radio program. If you did not, sucks to be you. Come back tomorrow. We'll try again, and we'll do even better. I am Rob Brown. He's a great Malonzo. Back here tomorrow for the Wednesday edition of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Later.
What an idiot. Just stupid.
Poor Adam.
All right, dudes, we out. I got a lot of stuff to do, unfortunately, so I can't hang out very long, but I do appreciate all of you being here. I hope you have a spectacular rest of your day. Tell your friends about us. We would like to be rich and famous. See you tomorrow.